Welcome to Canada for Canoe 22, the ICF Canoe Sprint and Paracanoe World Championships. I'm Ali Johnson. I'm delighted to have your company for the next 2.5 hours or so here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia on Lake Banook. This is the 47th World Championships, the third here to be held in Dartmouth, and it's already proving to be a very popular venue. Canoeing is part of life here in Nova Scotia. There are 3 canoe clubs on this lake alone. Dartmouth is known as the City of Lakes. 23 lakes in this region, but we're on Lake Banook. As you can see, it's good conditions here. And we've got some really exciting races to bring you very shortly. I'm delighted to say alongside me, we've got Hannah Brown, who is a former GB sprint paddler and world champion in wild water racing. Also a coach of Paracanoe. So Hannah, exciting times for you. I'm sure you're very nervous about these next 5 Paracanoe races as we see the weather conditions. Good conditions, Hannah, so far. A little bit blustery on the course, but it has been humid.
Yeah, it's very warm out there. The conditions are neutral in a way that everyone is going to get a fair and equal race, and I think that's what we like to see. Obviously, the headwind makes it a little bit slower and longer than we might want, but the guys out there will have trained in all sorts. So.
That's right, they've got to be ready for anything. Width of the course, just over 1,000 meters. Length, 538 meters. We're racing, of course, across the width of this lake. And interesting for the paddlers, actually, not racing on a 2,000 meter lake, which is unusual for sprint canoeists. We're going to start with a Paracanoe event of KL1 for the men. All the Paracanoe races taking place over 200 meters. And all the next 5 races we're going to see, we will see in Paris, which is very exciting. There's a fantastic shot of Lake Banook there. Really close to downtown Dartmouth, and it's been a wonderful championship so far. There you can see the lineup of the KL1 men. We've got India, Australia, France, Hungary competing twice in this one, Brazil, Portugal, Chile and Spain. So we'll start the lineup over in lane 1. Surrender Kumar, our Indian paddler there, just preparing himself before the start in this KL1 category. And next to him on his left, in just a moment, we should see Benjamin Sainsbury from Australia, who in fact earlier in this competition had already taken a gold medal in the VAR event. We'll see the VAR event a little bit later, but this is the kayak, the KL1 as we said, and you can just see Benjamin Sainsbury. There he is in picture, sporting that fantastic moustache that he's been spending his time growing over the last few weeks.
I think there's been a cohort of them in Australian canoeing that have brought them out for the World Championships.
There has indeed. They brought that out, but also they brought the big guns because they're clearly in good form here. So here we'll go in lane 2. Lane 3, Remy Boule from France. Now, Remy was the bronze medalist from the Tokyo Paralympics, and he was the winner in Poznan just a few months ago. But here we have, from Hungary, well, you've just seen him in lane 4, that's Peter Kiss, the Tokyo Paralympic gold medalist, but also the World Championship gold medalist from last year. Of course, that unusual event of having a World Championships the same year as the Paralympics last year. Then we've got Luis Silva from Brazil is in lane 5. Just in picture there we saw Robert Suber, 3rd at the World Championships in Copenhagen, September last year. Next to him, Alex Santos, the Portuguese paddler, just outside the medals in Tokyo, taking 5th place at the Paralympics. Robinson Mendez from Chile there, he goes in lane 8. And next to him, completing the lineup, Adrian Castano from Spain, who's just outside the top 10, 11th place at the Paralympics in Tokyo, but took a 5th place in Poznan. And Peter Kiss, really perhaps the favoured athlete in lane 4 from the top of your picture, but only picked up the bronze medal in Poznan.
I was going to say, he's been the favourite across the cycle leading into Tokyo, but this year there was a surprise 3rd place at Poznan World Cup, so it's all to play for. It's just, this event has a couple of up-and-coming athletes.
So, the final begins of the KL1 men's 200 meters. A blistering start, leaping out of the blocks there. Alex Santos from Portugal. He's got that classic Portuguese fast stroke rate. There he is in picture with the backwards black cap, but watch for lane 4. We can see him just at the front of your screen then. Robert Suber looking really, really strong. That's lane 6. That is Robert Suber. I should say it's Peter Kiss looking really strong, his compatriot. And he's about 70 metres to go, Peter Kiss, but he's looking strong.
He is looking really strong. He's got a very low rate in comparison to the rest of his compatriots, but he's got an excellent reach, and you see that vertical blade where he's really dropping every weight onto the stroke that he can. It's going to be hard fought with the Brazilian coming back at him, but he is going to hold it on for half a boat length victory. Oh, and that's a World Championship gold back over to him.
Yeah, fantastic result for Peter Kiss. You know, he will be delighted with that. Tokyo Paralympic champion, world champion last year. Did it all last year, didn't he? Just maybe put under pressure in Poznan, picked up the bronze medal, but maybe just keeping his eye on this, the big event of the year, the World Championships. And as you said, Hannah, that low stroke rate, but really getting a good grip of the water. Look at the start here. Decent start from him, but it seemed to be the best start was from lane 7.
Yeah, lane 7 shot out the blocks, very fast starting, and I think if you see he can endure a little bit more, he'd be up there in the medals. But Richard Suba there, very, very strong as he's coming through into the red boys. And Remy Bull, don't discount him. Very, very strong athlete from France over in the right-hand side to Peter.
Yeah, lane 3, Remy Bull coming through nicely for that 3rd place. I think it was just a tall order for him to try and get on terms with Peter Kiss. But a good result for the French, a good bronze medal, solid bronze medal for him. But Peter Kiss, good half a boat length over the rest of the field. I say a good half a boat length, but in actual fact, you know, half a boat length is a fairly small margin. We've seen much bigger than that previously, haven't we?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the Brazilian athletes made mountains of improvements over the winter, and to be that close to Peter, I think he's going to be looking back at the drawing board over this winter for sure.
He is indeed, and Peter Kiss looking big, looking strong there, looking dominant. He'll be down, hopefully, we'll see him on the pontoon with Ross very, very shortly. We'll get an interview with him. We just get a little picture of the end of Lake Banook. That's where these athletes are heading to see this beyond the finish line. And they're just circling around. They'll have the boats weighed. You can see the numbers 6, 3, 5 and 4. Those boats being called to make sure their boat is the correct weight. 12 kilos for these boats, Hannah, and specifically kitted out for these athletes.
Yeah, all of the Paracanoe boats will have individual adaptations in there to make the boat comfy and make the contact points as bespoke as possible. As you can see there, in the KO1 category, we have generally a mid-spinal cord type of injury or impairment, so they need to be supported in the lower limbs and across their midriff. But everyone's got a unique setup across here, and it's really interesting to see how different countries come across and how innovative they can be.
And it allows other countries to have a little peep, doesn't it? And then you say, oh, right, well, OK, we're doing this, we'll try that. You're doing something a little bit different. Now, you can see Peter Kiss there just coming into the pontoon. And very shortly, I'm sure he'll be very happy to come and have a word with Ross Solly down there on the pontoon.
Peter.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're world champion again.
Yeah.
How was the race?
Whew. I have a little sick in the World Cup, so I can defend my title. So I decided in the World Championship I can get my place, and so I got. So I'm really, really happy.
What has this year been like for you? You lost in Poznan.
Yeah.
So was that hard for you then to come back and show again that you're on top?
Yeah, it's really hard in mental, get up the high again. But a lot of training in the summer got what I want.
Congratulations,
Thank you
Peter.
so much.
Paralympic champion, world champion again. Well done.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Well, delighted Peter Kiss there with his result. As he said, he had a bit of work to do after Poznan, which is right at the end of May, so he's had a couple of months and it's paid off. 48.40. Now, we're not seeing the fastest times, Hannah, but what is pleasing, as you said, you know, less than a second separating the first two. And then Remy Bull not too far away from that. Robert Suba hunting him down towards the end. So good to see this event becoming more and more competitive.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see the Brazilian athlete getting closer and closer. I think Peter's had boat lengths before between him and the rest of the field, so hotly contested.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, ever developing races. Now, we're going to go to the VAR here, which is a much longer boat, as you can see, 730. I thought it was 720 centimetres, is that right?
No, 730 maximum though, so you'll see a couple of variations of models out here.
A little bit shorter, but it's certainly a lot longer, isn't it, than a kayak. It has the outrigger, single-bladed paddle for these paddlers, and boy, we've got a really good lineup here for the VL2 women. There you can see Israel, Canada, Australia, Brazil, two of our very best British paddlers of all time, I might say. Germany, India and Japan completing the lineup. Good crowd, as you can see here, down on the shores of Lake Banook, just near downtown Dartmouth. And there you can see the boats with their outrigger. You can see Emma Wiggs in the centre of the picture, but we'll take you through the lineup now. It's Irina Shafir from Israel goes in lane 1. There she is in picture, just switching paddles over to the left and the right there. And she will be in lane 1. Then we'll look at Brianna Hennessy now, a real exciting talent, Brianna, 37-year-old, got a lot of home support here in Canada, did very well picking up the silver medal in Poznan just recently, so watch for her. We've got Susan Seipel, I should say, from Australia, who's been paddling very well. She was the winner in Poznan. Deborah Benavides, really exciting and popular paddler on the circuit. She took the bronze medal in the World Championships, and a real focused look from the face of Emma Wiggs. I mean, what hasn't Emma Wiggs done in this sport? She is constantly moving the sport on and setting new levels of excellence. Next to her, we'll see Katharina Bauernschmidt. Just missed out on the medals at the World Championships and in Poznan earlier in the season. Then Jeanette Chippington, and Jeanette, of course, coached by John Griffiths. She was the Tokyo bronze medalist, but she has so many World Championship Paralympic medals to her name. It's hard to have the time to run through them. And then we have Prachi Yadav for India, picked up the bronze medal in Poznan at the end of May. And then Saki Komatsu from Japan makes up the lineup here. But we do need to look at the centre of the course. Emma Wiggs, she'd been a Grand Slam champion, hadn't she, back in 2016 in that 12-month period, winning the Europeans, the World Champs, Paralympics. Jeanette Chippington has done the same. She is 2 lanes to the left of Emma Wiggs. But expect Emma to get out hard. Yeah,
Emma's got a very ferocious style out the bucket. Obviously going to be slightly biased in this race, but she's been training hard in the VAR to set the new level, really. Very, very focused athlete there in lane 5. So here we have the start of the VL2 women's 200 metres. We're underway, and you can see from the above shot from the drone there, the VARs just angling themselves, because remember, we're only paddling on one side. Emma Wiggs is away very, very strongly, but she's being put under pressure already by Brianna Hennessy, one from the top of your picture. There's Emma. Yeah, this is where Emma starts to come into her own. She's up at that high rate, holding the top speed, but the Canadian athlete is holding her. That's very impressive over on the far side. All the way to the red boys. Looks like she only got half a boat length. Yeah, half a boat length and half the distance to go. We're in the red boys. That means 100 metres. Nobody needs to tell Emma Wiggs that, and she is so determined. She is not going to give this up from here. She is powering on to the finish. The multi-world and Paralympic champion. Well, she's experienced, but she's got plenty more to give yet. Look at the determination as she digs in hard. The final few strokes approaching the finish. She's got big lead over the rest of the field. Watch to the far right of the picture. Brianna Hennessy at the top of the picture from Canada. We've got Jeanette Chippington putting Emma under pressure. No doubt about the winner. Britain takes gold, Canada silver, and Great Britain, Jeanette Chippington, picks up another medal and takes the bronze. And Emma and Hannah, you must be delighted for her. What a result. Yes, I think that's a massive step for her. I think it's really hard. We've not come away and competed at the World Cups this year, so this was the first international competition for the British team. So there's been some unknown nerves about where the rest of the world are, but now just explain, what does that mean? What does the 10 fingers mean? 10th World Championship title, I believe. That's right, 10 World Championship titles. Amazing. You can see right in the centre of the picture, starting off at an angle there because she's paddling on the right-hand side. No rudders on these boats, but then she's soon into a rhythm, and she was strong in the middle section there, wasn't she? Yeah. Really getting a good grip on the water, but she must have sensed over to her right that Brianna Hennessy had got away well. I don't know if she would have, to be honest, but she did go over there straight away and check it out. But yeah, she'll be very focused on her own lane. And I think, as you said, they've got a single-sided blade for that paddling, so they do steer within that VAR stroke, but every time you steer, you're starting to kill the boat speed, so minimal steering where possible, so that angle at the beginning is vital. Right, I see. So, yeah, every time you steer, you're going to slow the boat down, so she doesn't want to be doing that. There's the 10 fingers. I wonder if there'll be a few more. You know, I did speak to Emma a couple of weeks ago about the future and about Paris 24. It's not very far away. She said, well, just a year at a time, but it's not far off, is it? And, you know, she's clearly in good form. And as you said, Hannah,
she hasn't raced for such a long time, and you can't quite replicate, can you, that what it's like to sit on the start line, the nerves beforehand, and just the intensity of it.
Yeah, and I think Paracanoe is a fast-evolving discipline for us, so you actually don't know what the rest of the world are doing until you meet once or twice a year. So yeah, it's really, really impressive to see her still at the top. I know she'll take a lot from that race and still come back to work as hard as she does back at home in Home Pierpoint.
Well, that's one thing, you know, she is such a professional, and we wouldn't have a lot of these younger para-canoe athletes that are coming through for Great Britain that we'll see in the races coming up shortly if it hadn't been for Emma. She's congratulated Jeanette Chippington. Jeanette Chippington just not quite sure what the result is yet.
No, I think she's comfortably in that bronze medal position, but you just don't know when you're out there. When you're in the zone, down in your lane, it's so tough.
But that's good, isn't it? You know, it just shows that they're completely focused on the job that they've got to do, on the process, which is what the coaches talk about. Focus on your process. You can't control what the other paddlers are doing. You can only control your race, and obviously Jeanette really dialed into that. And Emma's going to come over. She's always good for an interview, Emma Wiggs, and hopefully she'll come over. She'll chat to Ross on the pontoon. She'll tell us about her experience. But of course, she's got some more racing later on today.
Yeah, she's up to the KL2 shortly after this. Again, highly competitive in that event. So exciting again with a different British paddler, Charlotte Henshaw at the. Well, a bit of a battle at the front between those two for sure. It'll be all to play for shortly. But a massive shout out to Jeanette. You know, she's competed across sports, across multiple games, and still up there winning medals. It's very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You know, Jeanette, she was a swimmer, wasn't she, before she moved to Paracanoe, as a lot of these athletes have. You mentioned Charlotte Henshaw. We'll see her in a couple of races' time. She came from para swim, and I think it was, in fact, Emma Wiggs that... No, it was Charlotte Henshaw that had suggested to Hope Gordon, another one of our up-and-coming paddlers, you know, why don't you move from swimming to try Paracanoe? It's a great team. You've got a great atmosphere there, and hopefully we'll get a few good words from Emma just now.
You're right. Emma, congratulations, another world title.
Oh,
Is that right?
that was long. That was really long and hard, and brilliant. The field is so close, and it felt a really good battle. So I'm absolutely chuffed. Like, that's my 10th, and I can't quite believe it, if I'm honest.
World title.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a special one.
Yeah. No, I might get cry now. Don't make me cry.
You always cry. How are you feeling now? 2 years out from Paris. How are you feeling at this stage?
I'm relieved right now. I think this year's been a really tough year for lots of reasons, but it's been a really tough year, and we've just done a bit of rebuilding. So we're not necessarily faster in this boat, but we're hopefully stronger. So hopefully now we can step on and make it even faster now. 'Cause I'm going to have to stay ahead of these girls, because they're coming for me.
Yeah, I think they are, but you'll be all right. Congratulations on your 10th world title. Well done, Emma.
Thanks, Ross.
Yeah, fantastic. Genuine delight on Emma's face. You know, she's been around the block a couple of times in this event, but just dominating there really, and still finding ways in which she can improve.
Yeah, I mean, the shout out to the Canadian athlete there. She's taken a step forward in the past year. I think 5th in the games last year. She looks strong out the start, so fantastic for the home crowd to see someone in this event do so well.
Yeah, indeed it is, and hopefully, certainly for the Canadians, they'll see more Canadian medals over the next couple of days. So we'll turn back towards the 200-meter start for the turn of the men. We're back in the kayaks is the KL2 men. There's the lineup: Ukraine, Great Britain, New Zealand, 2 Italian paddlers who are very strong. Argentina represented twice as well. Hungary and Japan. So in lane 1, we've got Hiromi Tatsumi in the white boat there. Then next to him, Andras Rozbora, the Hungarian. The Hungarian's very strong in Paracanoe. Then we've got Scott Martlew, experienced New Zealander. Watch for him. He's been looking strong in this event. Then Dave Phillipson. He goes in lane 4. Perhaps a bit of resurgence for Dave recently. He's been paddling very, very well. And then next to him, Ukraine. Probably the favourite here. Mikola Sinyuk competed in Rio, where he was 4th. Tokyo took the silver medal. Then we have first the Italians, Federico Mancarella, third in Tokyo, bronze medalist in Tokyo, silver medalist at the World Championships. Next to him, lane 7. We have Christian Volpi, also from Italy. Then we've got Emilio Atamanuk from Argentina and Mariano Turner from Argentina. So we're underway with the final of the KL2 men 200 metres. It looked, well, it was a blistering start if it was fair from both Italians, but certainly Christian Volpi in lane 7 got away well. But now we can see those white boats.
Yeah, Mancarelli is taking the lead right now in that blue boat in lane 6.
Yeah, Mancarelli, you're right, well spotted. There he is in picture. Really good rotation from him there, but he's going to be put under pressure in the later part of the course. We're down to the last 100 metres. The red boys there. Watch for the Ukrainian, who is on his right. Dave Philipson in the white boat, a little bit further to the Italian's right. Also there or thereabouts. We just need that camera to pan out. It's going to be an incredibly close finish. It looks to be like the Ukrainian's going to take this.
And Dave has taken a silver medal. What a result for Dave. Mancarelli just tightened up in those final meters. Absolutely dominating their final 100 there by Sinyuk there. That was, yeah, no questions asked about who won that, but a silver to Britain and a bronze to New Zealand, I believe. Wow.
Well, I've got it written down as Mancarella as bronze, but I think you might be right there. Scott Martlow looked like he came through well. A really fascinating race. It's just so close, which is what we want to see in Paracanoe from a British perspective, of course. Dave Philipson, what a finish. But just from a general global perspective, such a close race. That is fantastic to see, and it bodes well for the sport in the future.
Massively, and I think you're right. We might have to go to a photo finish for that bronze medal position, but neck and neck out of the beginning.
Yeah, lane 7, I almost thought that was a false start, but he certainly latched on very well. That was Christian Volpi, but it was his teammate in picture there, Federico Mancarella, who possibly for more than 50% of that race was ahead, but what really counts is who's ahead at the end, and perhaps the experience of Sinyuk just showed there, maybe a longer stroke, getting a good grip on the water, just maintained his speed and began to move through the Italian. And thankfully for Dave Philipson, he moved through as well. So let's get a look at the picture. So there's the Ukrainian, then we see the white boat of the British paddler Dave Philipson, and just above him, yeah, that's the black boat of Scott Martlow.
Definitely with that lunge, taking it by about 5 centimetres over Mancarelli. You can just see in those final 10 metres how short he's becoming in his stroke as the lactic is burning. He really put it all in the front half of that race and just didn't quite have enough to the line. But wow, fantastic finish by the Ukrainian paddler there.
Indeed.
Congratulations, world champion again. How is that?
Good.
How was the race for you?
Як це для тебе ця гонка?
Гонка дуже важка.
It's so hard.
Дуже важка морально.
It's also
Через війну в Україні.
Morally too hard because now we war in Ukraine.
Перемога за нами.
But victory will be in our side, so we believe in our defense forces.
So does he think his win today will be special for people of Ukraine?
Ця перемога була спеціальна для людей в Україні.
Так.
Yes, sure.
Для наших солдатів.
It's for our defense forces.
Well, congratulations and well done.
Thank you.
Well, Mikola Sinyuk, they're sending a strong message, and there's a huge amount of support for the Ukrainian paddlers here. They're being really well looked after by the Canadian hosts, and it's a very, very difficult time for them, so he is delighted with that result. 42.97. Dave Philipson in second place, 43.95. And Scott Martlow just getting ahead by, well, not a lot.
By 2 tenths, really. Well,
just over 2 tenths.
Tenths ahead of the Italians. The Italians were very fast out of the start, so we'll have to watch them over the next coming years of this cycle to see if they start to stretch out that lead. But it's a tight event, the KL2 men.
It is, and also interesting, Hannah, that you mentioned the lunge over the line. Perhaps if we get a chance, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're going to move through back to the VAR. So the VL3 women race coming up shortly. Really tasty one, this as well. We've had some great races this morning so far, and we've got a couple more really fantastic ones to bring you very shortly. So there we can see the lineup. 200 metres again. All the races, remember, in Paracanoe are 200 metres. VL3 women, we've got Australia, USA, Brazil, 2 Brits right next to each other. Ukraine, well represented again. Canada, Uzbekistan and Israel, as we see from the lineup there. We'll hopefully get a shot of some of these paddlers very shortly. There they are, right at the top of the picture. The green and gold of Australia we'll see very shortly, I'm sure, in a close-up of Amy Ralph, who's 6th. So a good final position for her in Poznan earlier this summer. Remember, none of our top British paddlers went to Poznan. So it was an opportunity for some of the other nations to really get in amongst those top few places. Then we've got Julian Elwart from the United States. She goes in lane 2. Next to her, Mari Santilli from Brazil. There's Mari Santilli from Brazil, as I said. And then next to her, we've got Hope Gordon. Now, Hope Gordon from the very far north of Scotland. She's had a very varied career. Para-swim. She, of course, took part in the Nordic skiing in Beijing, the Winter Olympics.
Just become a Paralympian over the winter. Fantastic.
Great. And here's someone who's an experienced Paralympian, an experienced medalist. And, well, those of us watching on like me are looking forward to her hopefully picking up another medal. But Natalia Lahotenko might have something to say about that. She's a very experienced paddler in lane 6, the Ukrainian, 2nd in Poznan this year. Next to her, Erica Scarf. We've already seen a medal, Brianna Hennessy, a little bit earlier in the Paracanoe. So will we see another Canadian on the roster? We might well do. Erica Scarf was the winner in Poznan at the World Cup in May. Uzbekistan's Esmerizeva goes in lane 8, and Natalia Eilat from Israel. She was 3rd in Poznan. She's to the very far left of your picture. She goes in lane 9. So just the sort of nervous moments as the helicopter flies overhead, and we get a good look at Lake Banook.
It's quite an iconic venue, isn't it, when you look down the course like that?
It really is an unusual view, in fact, for the paddlers, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
you're not normally used to seeing that sort of trees and buildings down at the end of the lake.
No, it's actually quite hard from a visual point, because you normally have quite an anchoring at a central concrete block to target, whereas actually it's quite an open-ended lake with boathouses and actually a little inlet or outlet river that leads to another lake.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah, it leads to another lake. There's 23 of them in this Dartmouth area, the city of lakes as it's known. And paddlers here just lining up on what is a fantastic outdoor venue, as you've said, Hannah, and wonderful to see so many children out paddling during the week as well.
And I think you can see here a little bit of a headwind, so it's going to make it a long event, but it does look fairly straight and direct. I think when the wind comes from either a left or a right, it can be really challenging in these boats.
Indeed. Okay, so we're about to get underway with the final of the women's VL3 200 metres. Watch for Charlotte Henshaw.
Lane 8, forward.
A little bit of adjusting there.
Ready, set.
Final of the women's VL3 is underway. Lane 5, remember, Charlotte Henshaw. Lane 4, her teammate, Hope Gordon. There we can see lane 8 in picture. That's the Uzbekistani. As the camera pans out, we'll get a look to see if Charlotte Henshaw's got away to a traditional strong start. She has. It's going to be up to Hope, the likes of Hope Gordon, to try and go with it, but we're not into the red boys yet, and already Charlotte Henshaw has a commanding lead.
She does, doesn't she? She's so strong between the sort of 60 to 100 metre mark. I was just going to say, I think the Canadian athlete and the Brazilian had a flyer out of the buckets, but Hope has taken another boat length across of them. For her, as you can see, some of them are starting to struggle with directional stability, but Shah is just so strong out in the front.
She's rock solid there, isn't she? Really vertical paddle, getting her weight onto the blade there. She was pulling away. Hope Gordon, just to her right, has straightened herself up now, and she's beginning to put Charlotte under pressure, but Charlotte is not going to let this one go. Will it be a 1-2 for Great Britain? It looks like it for here. Gold for Charlotte Henshaw, silver for Hope Gordon.
Tight for the bronze medal between Brazil and Canada there. I think the home crowd might have just had a 4th place finish, but wow, that was brilliant. Brilliant showdown by Shah there. Oh, it's very biased from my side as an athlete of mine, but yeah, Hope Gordon was coming back. Wow.
She was, wasn't she? Yeah, really. Perhaps a little adjustment with steering for Hope Gordon to make there. She's fairly new to the sport, but Charlotte looks strong, Hannah, and you're her coach. What did you make of that? What are you going to be telling her afterwards, apart from once you've congratulated her on her gold medal?
I think it's a new event for us to really take on. I know she's done it every year and is a consistent world champion in it, but it was named as a Paralympic event for this up-and-coming Paris schedule. So I think it's going to be one that's going to be hard fought, and you can see the whole rest of the world is coming back at us. But yeah, between both Hope Gordon and the Brazilian and Canadian, I think we've got a bit more to find, but very strong, and she is quite such a fantastic athlete.
Yeah, she's very smooth, isn't she? I know she's spoken before about her experience of swimming and what she likes about moving through water, and you can kind of sense she's got that feel, that dark art of really making a boat run.
Yeah, no, very much, and she's got great feel for water, which I think in the VAR is really useful because of the directional stability of it. You've got to tune into what the boat is doing and then correct it on that next stroke. But yeah, clear half a boat length, and she's very, very happy with that.
Indeed, and you just see the third placer looks to, yeah, you can see it's actually clear going over there. That is lane 3. So Canada miss out on the medals this time, as you spotted.
She lost her sunglasses, lucky.
Got to get her priorities right there. There we go. Back on the head. So great result for Charlotte. You know, another gold medal to add to her collection. And as you said, as she congratulates Hope Gordon there, you know, this a new Paralympic event for Paris. And these two together, good friends, obviously battling on the water, but, you know, learning from each other as they go. And Charlotte breaking the minute barrier to take the gold. Hope Gordon just over a minute in second place, but not far behind. And then Marie Santilli from Brazil just gets ahead of Erica Scarf from Canada to take the bronze medal.
No, very clear 1 and 2 there for Great Britain. And yeah, as you say, great friends and great teammates. And I know we're going to use each other to push on this event moving forward.
Edging towards the knock here. Congratulations on another world title in the new Paralympic event. Well done.
No, thank you. It's really exciting to have the opportunity to double up. Coming from a sport where I was only a breaststroker in swimming, I only had the chance to go for 1 medal. So to have the opportunity to hopefully race 2 races in Paris is really, really exciting, and a challenge for the next 3 years to kind of learn how to double up. I've got great inspiration from my team that have already done it for a cycle, so excited for what it means for Great Britain Paracanoe.
How great is it to be racing here? I mean, what a great venue, what a great crowd. It's exciting.
Beautiful, and you know, I could tell we had a Canadian paddler in that race, so the crowd was absolutely unbelievable, and that's what we want. We want people to get excited about Paracanoe. As you've seen this morning, like, it's just such an exciting sport, and you know, we want as many people as possible to get on board so that it can become bigger and better in the years to come.
Congratulations, Charlotte. World champion. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic, and she's sort of learning, isn't she, as the athletes do as they progress through the career, what it means to represent the sport. She's very keen to drive things forward and to increase the popularity of Paracanoe.
Yeah, and Paracanoe is still relatively young in its age as a discipline. It's kind of just done its second Paralympic cycle, and I think every time it goes through, it evolves from competitors to also the standard, which we're seeing this year. But the times aren't fast given the conditions, unfortunately, but the depth is there without a doubt.
Okay, so we'll move through to the KL3 event for the men. We're staying with the kayaks for the men for now, and an exciting final, another exciting, possibly close final coming up here very shortly. So we've got Italy, Uzbekistan, Poland, Spain, 2 British paddlers in this one, Australia and New Zealand, always a good rivalry between those two. And then Hungary, once again, Hungary often were very well represented in Paracanoe. So we'll take the lineup very shortly. You'll be able to see right at the top of your picture. There he is. There's our Italian Quazzo Klopa, 5th just outside the medals in Poznan earlier this season for him. So that will have boosted his confidence going into this World Championships. And then next to him, Kazan Kudyshev from Uzbekistan will be in lane 2. You can see just in the bottom right-hand corner of your picture there, the orange boat. Well, perhaps red boat. In fact, Spanish boat. Looks like he's borrowed a boat from the Spanish team. He goes in lane 2. And then Mateus Suwillo, bronze medalist. There he is in lane 3. Bronze medalist from Poznan on his home water in Poland. That was a good result for him, and he was 5th at the World Championships in Copenhagen last year. Juan Valle, very, very popular paddler from Spain. Spends his time between Seville, Esturia and Galicia for training. Then we've got Rob Oliver. Rob Oliver, bronze medalist in such a tight photo finish in the Paralympics in Tokyo.
Between this man here.
Indeed, and sporting another great moustache, Dylan Littlehales there. Made the semi-final in Rio and just missed out on the medals due to Rob Oliver in Tokyo. There's Johnny Young having something of a resurgence. Johnny, 9th at the World Championships, just made the final last year. He's hoping to go a little bit better here at the World Championships in Canada. Then we've got Corbin Hart from New Zealand in the black kayak. And Eric Kiss will go for Hungary in lane 9. So just get these lanes lined up for the final. There's Johnny Young in picture. Big guy, Johnny. Strong paddler, former military. And then little Hales there. Actually quite a lot smaller, isn't he?
He is quite slight, but that power to weight ratio is, yeah, definitely in his favour.
It's very high indeed. So we'll have to watch for Dylan Little Hales, watch for Johnny Young, watch for Rob Oliver in lane 5. He knows what it takes to come through late in the race for the medals. Of course, the very fancied Spaniard is next to him, Valle. He goes in lane 4.
Expect a fast start from these men.
Latching onto the very first stroke. They look like a good start from the New Zealander in lane 8.
Yes, I believe a New Zealander has been learning under the guise of Amy Fisher, so he's going to have a fast start. But it looks like Rob Oliver is taking it in this middle to early parts of the race. Half a boat length as he's coming into the 90-metre mark.
Yeah, Rob Oliver, the British paddler. That's Johnny Young in picture, but it was Rob Oliver who certainly done the first half of this course got away the best. But we've got to watch out for these other paddlers. Watch for the Spaniard, watch for Dylan Little Hales. There he is in picture. The Australian in lane 6 is going to be close as the paddlers approach the line. We'll see them break the side of the picture there. Rob Oliver's desperately trying to hold on.
Oh, wow.
But a blanket finish. Spain, Great Britain, Australia all in there. This is what we want to see in Paracanoe racing.
I don't know who got that one. No, that is a photo finish between Spain, Britain and Australia. But they've given it to Valle. Wow, that is an incredible finish that he did just then.
And very quickly giving it to him, in fact. Look
Yes,
like
they have. Yeah, I think we need to rewatch it. I mean, I don't think he's even sure, but woof, that was amazing. And Rob just tightened up in those final 12 metres. But big shout out to Johnny Young. That's a clear 4th place for him, which is a massive step on and testament to some of the training he's been doing recently. Still questioning it.
He's just checking there, just checking. I think all his fans, and he does have a few here, Juan Valle, are telling him, you won, you're the winner.
No, the Spanish team out here in force. It's impressive to see their teammanship, really, across sprint and para.
Yeah, you're right. They've got a good, strong team here, both across that, and they're learning from each other, as they are in Great Britain. Paracanoe learning from sprint, sprint learning from Paracanoe. It's a team effort, that's what we want to see. So it was Rob Oliver who got away best. Fantastic start from him, but it wasn't just about the start. He was strong in the middle, but then it was Juan Valle who just managed to maintain that top speed as we get towards the line. 10 metres to go, last few strokes.
Oh, that lunge I think we've just been talking about was just perfectly timed. And it is silver to Rob and bronze to Dylan there. That is the tightest finish I've seen for a while in this fair category. But again, 4th place to Johnny, and I think an amazing 5th to our New Zealand newbie, Corbin Hart. I believe it's his first World Championships after qualifying for the games last year, so impressive.
Great
He's definitely celebrating now.
Well, he's quite a popular figure, isn't he, Juan Valle? And he's really delighted at that, and that's exactly what we want to see in Paracanoe. You know, a few years ago, in fact, not long after the last World Championships here in Dartmouth 2009, we had the introduction of Paracanoe, and it gradually gathered momentum, but we didn't have races this close, and it's just brilliant to see. Even though, you know, Rob Oliver will be slightly disappointed not to win the gold, but he'll be really pleased to be part of such a competitive and intense race.
Yeah, I mean, Rob's taken a year sort of back into a full-time role with his aeronautical engineering, just to keep his finger in the pie. I guess he'd undenied about retiring, but he's coming back with force, and actually a silver medal at the World Championships is nothing to be shied away from. That's an impressive result, given the year he's had, balancing full-time work and it. But let's listen to Valle now.
Yeah. Congratulations, you're a world champion.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't speak English.
That's right, I don't speak Spanish. So how was the race for you?
Race perfect for me. This are lessons in the problem, training, this race, very good.
Your first time for world champion.
I think yes.
And you
But
think it is. It definitely
primero,
First,
sí,
first gold
fair.
medal, yes. Well done.
Wow,
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Do you want
much.
to say something in Spanish? What would you like to say in Spanish? España.
Para España, pues que no me lo creo. Increíble. Bueno, ahora
Well,
tengo que ir a pesaje.
he doesn't know what to say in his own language, but he's so delighted. Just wanted confirmation from Ross there that he did actually win the race. And Juan Valle, you are the world champion. And just put something else in the mix there. Of course, we didn't have Serhiy Yemelyanov, the Ukrainian, who is our Paralympic champion, because he's back. Well, he is training in Ukraine, but he's been so supportive of the war effort there, selling off his gold medals, in fact, in order to support that. Thankfully, the person who gave the money didn't want the medal, so he's got to keep them, but he is keeping a close eye on this particular event. And he perhaps be keeping a close eye on the medal table. Great Britain delighted to be at the top of the medal table, followed by Australia, Germany and Spain not far behind. But with more races to come, I do hope that Rob Oliver may well come and join us fairly shortly, Hannah, because much as we'd love to have you, you've got to be back on the water, haven't you? You've got some races coming up fairly shortly.
Yes, I must dash for the next cohort of races, but it's been brilliant to watch them from this angle, and yeah, I think Rob will give you a really good insight across the rest of the categories.
Well, let's hope so. We've certainly seen some fantastic races, possibly the closest and best para-canoe races we have ever seen. That's what the World Championships is all about. Just wonderful pictures here from Lake Banook. A wonderful host, Dartmouth and Halifax combining to put on this event here on Lake Banook. Just where canoeing is part of life, such a popular and important sport, it's been wonderful to have these para-canoe races and see the very best in the world compete. We've got lots more races for you to come. More para-canoe races, another 5 to come yet, another 12 canoe sprint races, and then more tomorrow. So hope you've enjoyed the action so far, and I'm sure that we're going to be bringing you more exciting racing from Lake Banook very, very shortly. Well, great conditions now. Just the wind settled down a little bit. The sun is shining over Lake Banook in Dartmouth here in Canada, and we're already well underway with our ICF Canoe Sprint and Paracanoe World Championships. Canoe sprint races with 12 of them to bring you this morning. And we still have 5 more Paracanoe races. I'm delighted to say that Rob Oliver, fresh from his silver medal winning performance, is just alongside me now as we see the weather there. Air temperature 24 degrees. Water temperature is good. With just a light wind, Rob. Good conditions for racing. Congratulations on your KL3 silver medal. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling brilliant, thank you. Yeah, the weather out there today is absolutely beautiful.
Good for racing, I suppose. It just makes the paddlers feel positive about being out there, and it's such a great sport, this sport, isn't it? An outdoor sport, and the feeling of gliding and flowing on the water must have felt good for you to be racing in that really tight race and picking up the silver medal.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. So tight, all the racing here, and this competition is going to be absolutely to the wire. And yeah, it makes all the winter sessions brilliant when we come out to days like this.
Indeed. Well, there you can see the lineup as well. We'll start with the KL1 women. All these races in Paracanoe over 200 meters. With 5 of these Paracanoe races before we then get underway with the C1 men in the sprint canoe. but we've a real full program for you right the way through to what many believe is the blue ribbon event of sprint canoe, the K1 men 1,000 meters, right at the end of our program. As you can see there, and that is set to be a fantastic race. Well, we've got a lot to look forward to before we get to that point, and you can just see the flag just a little bit blustery on the lake there. Here we've got the details. So 520 centimeters maximum length, 12 kilograms. Pretty narrow, these boats, these kayaks. Rob, you know them well. We've got the KL1 women here. We'll see the lineup in just a second. We should see these paddlers about to line up. A good crowd. We should have 10,000 here today on the shores of Lake Banook. A lot of runners out this morning in the mist. It's going to get muggy, it's going to get humid and hot today. So those runners getting that done early, and people settling down to enjoy some racing. A lot of Canadian fans here, and a lot of fans have come from all over the world to see. And Rob, many British fans over here to come and watch you and the British squad who are topping the medal table at the moment. Yeah,
we're having a lot of representation from the Scots this time. We've got a couple of our parents, Scottish parents, coming out, really bringing the cheers, and the Canadians have been fantastic. They're really supporting the whole of the canoeing programme, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot of noise this morning.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. In fact, every time there's a Canadian taking part, we do hear a lot of noise. Charlotte Henshaw mentioned that, of course, in her race earlier, didn't she? And Canada picking up their first medal of this World Championships with Brianna Hennessy there. And we'll actually see Brianna Hennessy in lane 2 in the next race that's coming up. So, yeah, wonderful support. I mean, there's such a big gap between World Championships here in Canada. We had 1997, those of you old enough to remember will have enjoyed the racing then. We had 2009, just before the Paracanoe category came on board, and now here we are in 2022. There's the lineup. So we've got Brazil, Canada, Italy, Germany, Ukraine, Chile, Great Britain and Hungary in there. We'll be able to see the paddlers very, very shortly. Some of these paddlers, of course, already raced. I mentioned Brianna Hennessy, who we'll see in lane 2. And, of course, there is Jeanette Chippington from Great Britain in lane 7. And the British team, Rob, is a real mixture of youth and experience. Yeah, Jeanette, obviously experienced in this category, Rio champion. So she won her 20th medal earlier, international medal. So she'll be absolutely buzzing. I'm sure that she'll fancy her chances in this. But, I mean, we're really looking at the middle of the park here. We're looking at Ukraine, Germany. You know, they were top 2 at the Worlds last year and top 2 back in Tokyo, so it's really going to be tight between those two. It is going to be tight. It could be interesting with Brianna Hennessy. We just saw lane 1 there, Adriana Azevedo from Brazil. Then Brianna Hennessy in lane 2, who will be buoyed from her medal, and she's got the support of the crowd here. I think you're right, the favourites towards the centre of the course. There's this distinctive German boat. Never missed that one in Paracanoe and Sprint Canoe with the pink colour there. Now we had Eleonora Paolis from Italy in lane 3, but we just saw Edina Muller, one of the favourites, of course, Tokyo gold medalist Paralympics. Then we saw the Italian paddler. There is Edina Muller once again, as I said, great performer. Just picked up the silver in the World Championships, wasn't it, in Copenhagen? But apart from that, she's been very, very successful. Yeah, she's been dominating this category for quite a while. Right, well, let's see if the others can do something about it. Now, but then we had Mariana Matsula from Ukraine. Such a great paddler. She was the one who beat Edina Muller at the World Championships. There's Jeanette Chippington. We saw Katharina Voloman from Chile. And then Jeanette Chippington, we talked a little bit about her already, doing the Grand Slam, winning everything in a calendar year. World Championships, Paralympics, and European Championships back in 2016, 2017, I think it was. Joanna Puflinger from Germany, and then Erika Pulai from Hungary in lane 9. So, Rob, just before we start here, what's going through the paddler's mind as they approach the starting booths? Now that the bucket's come up, you'll be looking dead straight down the course. You'll be trying not to look side to side. You'll be focusing exactly on what you've done, what your race prep has been for the last 12 months, and then it'll fall silent now, and you just get into the zone and slowly paddle into that bucket. Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? We saw that from yourself, but also actually Jeanette Chippington, when we saw her race earlier, she didn't know the result because she was so focused just on the job that she had to do. Okay, so we can see the lineup there. This, the final of the KL1 women's 200 meters. Brazil, Canada, Italy, 2 German paddlers, Ukraine, Chile, Great Britain and Hungary.
Hold your positions.
So the final of the KL Women 200 metres is underway. Held for a little while on the start. There's Jeanette Chippington. What an experienced paddler she is. She's over in lane 7. We saw lane 8 in picture, but as you said, Rob, the middle of the echelon there going really, really well. That is lane 5. Mariana Matsula really turning the screw, the Ukrainian. Yeah, so Matsula still beginning to push on now. She's in the red boys. She's really pushing now, but she's being put under pressure by the Chilean in the black boat. And also, as you spotted, the German Adina Muller is coming late to the party. So here we go. The final few strokes now. It was with the Ukrainian. It's still with the Ukrainian. The Chilean putting under pressure, but it's going to be Ukraine. Chile. Looks like, goodness me, Brianna Hennessy picking up another medal for Canada.
That home support really showing there. You could hear that noise there, and that brought her home. That last 50 metres is all about grit, determination, digging in, and she really held on for that one.
Wow, fantastic. And we talked to me about Adina Muller. You know, she's won pretty much everything. Paralympic champion, she won in Poznan, but this was about Mariana Matsula. We should see in the replay, she got away to a great start, and then the late charge from Brianna Hennessy from Canada over in lane 2, second from the top of your picture, perhaps not in the race early on, but very good start there from the Ukrainian, also alongside her, the Chilean paddler Catherine Volleman, who ended up with a silver medal. There they are, Rob.
It's fantastic. It's another tight race, just highlighting how fast these athletes have come on. You know, back in the day, it used to be like 1 or 2 athletes vying for medals, and now it is absolutely stacked, this field.
Well, that's only good for the sport, isn't it? And Hannah Brown, who was with us a little bit earlier, was saying just the same thing. The racing's getting closer and closer, and particularly in your category, of course, but to see this here, to see the finish, Ukraine and Chile were there the whole time.
Yeah.
But it was Brianna Hennessy over the last 50 metres, as you said, just managed to overhaul the German to pick up her 2nd medal of this World Championships.
It's fantastic. 5 boats all in contention right there. That's what it's about.
Really, really great to see. Good stuff. Well, another Ukrainian win there. So we can see Mariana Matsula, 51.86, takes the gold medal. Catherine Volleman from Chile in silver. And Brianna Hennessy from Canada takes the bronze. As you said, Rob, if you look at those first 5 places there, all within just over 2 seconds. It is that close. It's a wonderful thing to see for the development of Paracanoe.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And the thing to take into account with that is that these boats are going a little bit slower than the Olympic boat. So although the time there, it seems a little bit higher, but if you get that down to a percentage, it's bringing it right in line with the Olympic boats.
That's really, really positive to see. Again, development right across all the categories. So we may well get our winner, Mariana Matsula from Ukraine. A little interview with Ross down there on the pontoon.
Marina, congratulations. World champion again.
Yeah.
How was that race? It looked pretty hard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was really hard. But I win.
Yes.
And it's most important for my country right now, for my family, for my friends. And I want
Yeah, well, it's been a hard year for Ukraine, hasn't it? So congratulations on the win. Congratulations on being world champion. Well done.
Я хочу посвятить свою победу Украине и всем защитникам Украины.
It's victory for all defenders of Ukraine, and it's victory for Ukraine too.
Thank you. Congratulations. Well done.
Well, Mariana Matsula, everybody is with you here. The Ukrainians are so well supported here in Canada and across the world, and particularly in the canoeing community. Of course, the Romanians, the Italians have been supporting the Ukrainians, and they've been very successful in this category. Just earlier, Mikola Sinyuk, of course, picking up the gold medal in the KL2 men's category. And we've still got your nemesis, haven't we? Sergei Yemelyanov, perhaps, to return to the water soon. Well, we're going to turn to the water here on Lake Banook once again. It's the VL2 men's turn this. And we can see the lineup there. We've got Ukraine, Hungary, USA, 2 Brazilian paddlers fighting it out in the middle of the course there. Portugal, Spain, Canada once again, who knows, may pick up another medal, and Italy. So, turn of the vase this time, Rob. A little bit different, a little bit longer these boats, and of course a single-bladed paddle.
Yeah, definitely a little bit different on these. We're looking for technique. Some of the paddlers will switch, which will mean that they'll start on one side and then switch over to the other hand if they're getting a little bit tighter out of lane, and some of the others will use like a J stroke. Depends on the paddler, depends on the strength. Here we go, here's the champion.
Yeah, I mean, what makes him special for Fernando Ruffino? Look, he's the Tokyo Paralympic champion, he's the world champion. What is it about him that seems to get on top of the podium?
He has that perfect balance of poise at the start of the stroke. He also very, very powerful, which is why a lot of it comes down to in this sport, especially in the tougher conditions. Today we're seeing a little bit of a tail, so I think it's really going to open up this race.
Yeah, could well indeed. But it's interesting, isn't it? It's having that power, but also being able to apply the power in the right way. And obviously, in the middle of the course, Fernando Ruffino in lane 4, expect him to go well. So just take you down the lineup. Ukraine, Andriy Krivchun in lane 1. Robert Suber, very experienced Hungarian, in 2. Stephen Haxton, USA, goes in 3. Fernando Ruffino, we talked about him, the Brazilian, in 4. His teammate, Igor Torfalny, in lane 5. Norberto Mourão, watch out for him, from Portugal, in lane 6. Higino Rivero from Spain in 7. Big support for Matteo Sampierre from Canada in 8. And Marius Quistia from Italy goes in 9. Lane 1 to the very right of your picture, lane 9 to the left. Great view of the course there. Much more natural lake than some of the venues that the paddlers participate in across Europe. But a fantastic event here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, on Lake Banook, and a great race to look forward to. So just little adjustments being made by these VL2 men before they put the bow of their vase into those buckets. You can see the slight angles there, that boat angle depending on which side they're paddling on. And now we wait for the start of the VL2 men 200 meters.
Please, lane 5, come forward. Hold your positions, please, gentlemen. Hold your positions, please. Hold your positions. Lane 5 forward, please. Thank you, gentlemen. Ready, set.
So we're underway with the final of the VL2 men's 200 meters. Watch for lane 4, the white boat, perhaps getting his bow in front. 6 got away well as Norberto Mourão, medalist, bronze medalist at the Tokyo Paralympics. But that long stroke and that power that you mentioned, Rob, is really beginning to work for Fernando Ruffino.
Yeah, this is it now. This is his part of the race as well. He's really going to step it on from here. Just look at that perfect stroke. That boat is going dead straight like an arrow.
Yeah, the overhead shot really helping there. No angle there. Really straight as a die. But goodness me, his teammate, Igor Tolfini, I should say, well, he's putting him under pressure. They're getting close to the finish line now. As we pan out, we'll be able to see there could be an upset going on here between the Brazilians. It might be the lunge for the line. There's another 5 strokes to go, but it's perhaps the Brazilian we didn't expect who takes the win.
Fantastic racing again.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you talked about power, and goodness me, Toffolini, he's a big, strong guy, isn't he?
He is, yeah. They're both from the same sort of mould. That's what you need, especially in the VL2 category where there's less leg drive, and it's all about that upper body strength, rotation, power, poise. And both of those boats were going dead as an arrow, so there's no wasted energy there whatsoever. You can see the Brazilians are right on the top of the game.
They certainly are, aren't they? It's really interesting, just speaking to Hope Gordon a few weeks ago, she was saying, you know, she started off just purely with brute power in the VAR, but there is also an element of technique and trying to run that boat straight and true and really efficient, and using all that power you've got into making that boat go forward and go quickly.
It's so hard to control the power in the VAR. It's applying it straight down, you just spin off. You already see all these guys, we're going right, left, all over the place, wasting so much energy. These guys are perfect. If you could see underneath the water right now, the tiny adjustments these guys are making, it's not just about brute strength, it's absolutely precision paddling going on.
It was indeed, and also precision timing for the Brazilian there. Toffolini, he was always in the mix, wasn't he? He was always there, just tracking his teammate, his slightly better known teammate, but then using a really long stroke. You can see there, as you talk about, Rob, look at the length he gets and the power into that stroke. But it was Toffolini, perhaps using a slightly longer stroke, just made that work for him. And then through in the bronze medal position, Norberto Mourão.
Yeah, he had a slightly stronger A-frame, he had slightly stronger back positioning, so all of that power was going straight down the blade. The other Brazilian was a little bit bent, so he's losing a little bit of that power, absorbing it a little bit in his body. It's fantastic.
So it's about transfer of power, and a quite complex thing, isn't it? Using the muscles of the core, the chest, shoulders and the arms as well, and getting that lock on that water. Always a tricky thing to do, get the feel of the water. It feels like it's really solid and you're moving your boat past it. So there we can see confirmation. 2 Brazilians in the top 2 places. Igor Toffolini, 51.67 for him. Just 0.3 ahead of his teammate Fernando Rufino, 52 seconds dead. And Norberto Mourão, 53.26. He takes the bronze medal. This time round, Higino Rivero just misses out.
Yeah, it shows how tight this category is. The silver medalist from Tokyo coming 6th there. It's unbelievable. A couple of seconds between everyone.
Yeah, great racing to see, and we've seen this just in pretty much every race of the para categories. Really, really close racing. Also interesting to see that sometimes teams, success breeds success. You know, Emma Wiggs has said that herself, that we might not have had Charlotte Henshaw coming on and Hope Gordon and Laura Sugar if she hadn't been driving that forward. And you know, that's what quite often happens in teams that are successful, bringing other people through as well.
Yeah, 100%. I've been there for the whole of that duration.
Yeah, indeed. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get an interview with Igor Toffolini. I don't think he speaks English. So we'll head off to the next race very, very shortly. But I'm sure big smiles for both those Brazilians on the top 2 spots of the podium, just making their way into the pontoon now.
Member of the Great Britain Paracanoe team, and I am currently the world champion in the VL3 and the KL2 200 metres. It was very, very emotional to be the world champion just a few weeks after winning gold in the KL2 in Tokyo last year. And I am so excited to get out here on this beautiful lake and race again, hopefully for those 2 titles. But I'm just looking forward to putting on the Great Britain vest and trying my best to race as fast as I can.
Well, she is indeed Charlotte Henshaw, isn't she? And what a performer she's proven to be in the VL3 category, winning the race there. But this is the turn of the KL2. She's in a kayak now, and she's racing Emma Wiggs once again in this KL2 category. Wouldn't put it past those 2 to pick up medals once again. Emma Wiggs, of course, has got 10 World Championships gold in the VAR category. She'd like to pick up a medal here, I'm sure, as I'm sure would Charlotte Henshaw. And of course, she is the world and Paralympic champion in this particular event. So there we can see the lineup: Israel, Ukraine, Germany, 2 for Great Britain. Sandwich, the meat of the sandwich, there's Katalin Varga in lane 5 from Hungary, Australia, Spain and Japan. So, and I guess one thing that Charlotte mentioned earlier as well in her interview was, in fact, you know, being able to double up, something that she didn't do when she was para-swimming because she was a specific stroke. So it's quite a challenge to be able to do both kayak and the VAR.
Yeah, this will be a 4th consecutive race out here, final, sorry, and it's unbelievable. Like, to be able to go from one boat to the other, we've just seen the difference in strokes in the VAR compared to the kayak. She'll just be getting focused now. She'll be in between the races, jumping into the other boat, getting retuned in, getting refocused. But I mean, like you said, this has really been, Emma Wiggs was the champion of this event for the first cycle into Rio, and Charlotte's really took that mantle on from there to Tokyo. And these are definitely the 2 queens of this sport.
They are indeed, but as we've seen, you know, competitive races, we've seen a few, particularly in the last race actually, a few surprises come up. So the athletes, that all 9 of them here, have got to be really focused. They know that they've all got a chance of getting onto that podium. So lane 1 is Talia Eliat from Israel. Lane 2, Natalia Lahutenko from Ukraine. Lane 3 is Anya Adler from Germany. Lane 4, Charlotte Henshaw from Great Britain. 4 from the right of your picture. Katalin Varga from Hungary goes in 5. Emma Wiggs is in lane 6. Susan Siepel from Australia goes in 7. Ines Felipe from Spain in 8. Shiho Miyajima from Japan goes in 9. There's Emma Wiggs, and I must say Emma Wiggs did put Charlotte under a bit of pressure in the earlier rounds. So just a little note to say, look, I'm still here.
Athletes are just making their way now.
And I wonder if she'll do the same, maybe look to get a good start soon as that bucket goes down and try and put the other paddlers, including Charlotte, under pressure. Always interesting to see who goes in the bucket first there. Looks like Emma is really chomping at the bit. Lane 6 getting in to there, getting herself set and sorted. She's 4 from the bottom of your picture there. 6 from the bottom of the picture. Charlotte Henshaw, the Paralympic champion. And this is the final of the KL2 women. So we're underway, watch for the start. It's the 2 white boats with the Great Britain flag, the Union Jack on the bow that are duking it out, battling it out currently, stroke for stroke, with the determination, the focus on Charlotte Henshaw's face means she's not giving this one up. Well, there you can see, now it's neck and neck, bow and bow at the minute, Rob. Maybe Charlotte Henshaw just edging ahead slightly, but very, very close between the 2 British paddlers.
Yeah, it's fantastic paddling. You can see there, look how tall Charlotte's sitting up, getting that power right down the blade. Emma Wiggs using all of her experience, though, staying in this one.
Yeah, she really is trying to keep that stroke long, Emma. It's just a little bit more power in the stroke, a little bit more drive that Charlotte Henshaw's putting in. It looks like she's going to come away with a gold medal. Indeed, she does once again. Charlotte Henshaw is the world champion, stalked by Emma Wiggs, stroke for the first 150 metres, and it will be Hungary that take the bronze. But we've seen some close races here today. However, Charlotte Henshaw, yes, it was close for the first half, but it wasn't once they're into the red boys. There was no doubt about that. She was pulling away from the rest of the field. And Emma Wiggs, well done on the silver medal. She did her very best to stay with Charlotte, but Great Britain have really found a star here.
Yeah, ever since she's took up the sport, she's absolutely flown. I think that basically having Emma and Charlotte training together at Nottingham as well, like teammates, you'll see it here, they'll embrace. They are super competitive out there on the lake, but then as soon as they get off, the training together, they're really, really good friends off the water as well.
Yeah, I just hope they didn't fall in there, thankfully. Whoops, nearly.
Cheeky.
And that, I think that just shows you just how exhausted these 2 are. But you're right, and that's not an easy thing to do, especially for somebody like Emma, who was right at the top of the game. And you know, if it hadn't been for Emma, we might not have had Charlotte. But Emma seems to accept that. She's still improving herself. She's still moving forward. But she's pleased that Charlotte has taken on the mantle as the lead paddler in the world in this event.
Yeah, I'm sure having the VAR to fall back on as well for Emma, being an absolutely amazing multi-skilled athlete, that will help a little bit as well.
Indeed, we can all learn from that, and it was the meat in the sandwich, the Hungarian Katalin Varga, who tried desperately to stay with these 2. Not an easy thing when you've got a paddler to your left, a paddler to your right, going away, clear water between them and you, but she stayed focused well. But as you said, Rob, Charlotte sitting high up in the boat, a lot of aggression, a lot of determination going in there, but also maintaining the focus and the length in the stroke.
Yeah, it's just pure power going down that blade. No wasted energy whatsoever from Charlotte
there. Yeah, quick look around to see where Emma was there, but perhaps in her mind there was not a lot of doubt. But she, as you've said earlier, Rob, she'll be focused completely on that race ahead and executing the best possible race that she can do. And don't know if that was perfect, but it certainly wasn't far off. There we see the results. Confirmation 47.60. Now that's a pretty quick time for Charlotte Henshaw, going well under 50 seconds there. Emma Wiggs behind her in 48 seconds, and then a little bit further behind Katalin Varga.
Another world title for you. Oh. How was that race?
A race, it was great. I just think feeling the effects of sort of 3 days of headwind racing and just that residual fatigue from a full program, which is still pretty new to me. So yeah, I'm pleased to sneak the win, and obviously immensely proud to, you know, occupy those top 2 steps again. It's good to have both of us on there again.
And another world championships and another 2 world titles. I mean, look, you're in a pretty good place at the moment, aren't you?
I am, yeah, and obviously this is the first year of a cycle, so I think it's not the finished product at all. We're kind of trying to change a few things. Like I said yesterday, I've got a new coach, and that's taken in a bit of adjustment, and it's clearly working well so far. But you know, we're very aware it's a 3-year project, and we're building towards Paris, and this is a good first checking off of it of the first year.
How great is it to be at a venue like this where you've got such a good crowd?
Oh, it's absolutely unbelievable. You know, it really does raise everybody's game, and it's amazing to see so many people supporting paddling, and you can tell how much it as a sport means to the people of Canada, and you know, can't thank them enough for welcoming us so openly and warmly, and I'll be sad to go home actually.
Thank you, Charlotte, well done.
Well, just perhaps hope her fans at home aren't watching that little clip there. No, but I think it's true that she has enjoyed her time here. The British team have enjoyed the time here. All the teams have enjoyed their time here because the Canadians love canoeing so much. And Charlotte is really becoming a spokesperson, not only for the British team, but also for the sport of Paracanoe. And you know, just even using the word sneak the win, she didn't sneak the win. She absolutely smashed that. But she doesn't want to come across in the wrong way. Well, we'll move back up to the start for the final of the VL3 men. Now we're back in the Vase. Remember, single-bladed paddle, longer boat with the outrigger, and a real power event, this one. But as you've said, Rob, already, he's controlling that power. So important. There we've got the lineup. 2 Spaniards in there. France, Ukraine, Great Britain's Jack Ayres looked in great forms in the middle of the course there. Argentina, Uzbekistan, Brazil and New Zealand all represented in this VL3 category. It was Curtis McGrath who was the winner of the Paralympics in Tokyo. He choosing to take some time out, but this no doubt will still be an exciting and close race. We can see Javier Rea there from Spain. He goes in lane 1. His teammate Adrian Mosquera is in lane 2. He took the silver medal in Poznan a couple of months ago. Abel Abba there from France, just getting himself up for this one. He's in lane 3. Vladislav Yepifanov, winner in Poznan at the World Cup. 3rd at the World Championships, the Ukrainian. He's in 4. Jack Ayres, really focused, having a really good season. I'd say that has not done much racing, but certainly from the World Championship point of view, he's going well. And if you look at the times he's been doing in training, certainly he's in good shape. Emilio Atamanuk from Argentina goes in 6. Katimurot Shakusiev from Uzbekistan just missed out on the medals at the Tokyo Paralympics, 4th place. Giovanni Paola took the silver in Tokyo. He's in lane 8. And Peter Cowan from New Zealand goes in lane 9. So there's the view that the paddlers have right down the end of Lake Banook. They'll know they've got the finish tower to the right. They've got the crowd to their left. They've got 200 meters directly in front of them. For some of these paddlers, the most important 200 meters of their life so far, as they approach the starting buckets for the start of the World Championship final in the VL3 men's category. There's the lineup. Paddlers approaching the buckets, and we'll be underway in just a few seconds' time.
Hold your positions. Seven forward, 4 forward.
So the final of the VL3 men's 200 meters. We're underway, just keeping an eye in the middle of the course there. Jack Ayres, a really good long stroke to get himself sorted. Hugely powerful, but he's got to be able to transmit that power into the water. There he is, 5 from the top of your picture. Going well at the minute, but it's not going to be all his own way. Look at that. Even after 50 meters, all the paddlers still in with a chance of a medal in this one. They're now down to the red boys. They'll know that. They'll sense it. They'll feel the lactic acid building up in their shoulders, in their arms, in their chest. It's down to who's done the hard graft, the hard hours in the winter, in the gym and on the water. Who is going to take this one? 5 from the right of your picture. Jack Ayres, there he is in picture now. All that lactic acid building up. He's pushing on. He's being pushed all the way by the Ukrainian. He's going to be on the lunge for the line. Woo. goodness me. That's going to be a photo finish. They've given it to Jack Ayres. He was pushed. Oh, every stroke of those final 50 metres, Jack Ayres. He's so powerful, Rob, isn't he? But
yeah, I'm sharing a room with Jack this week, and he's been absolutely chomping at the bit for this. He's been up for this race for the whole year, ready to come back out here again. And if there's one guy that, if there's 100 metres to go, and he's going to dig in deep, he's that guy. He's just determined. Every day in training, he will bury himself, ready for this moment.
Well, it just shows, doesn't it? That sort of thing pays off, isn't it? He's had a few, perhaps not as good years as he might have expected. You know, a few years ago he was going really, really well. Maybe took a little bit of a dip. He's had a few changes. Based in Bournemouth, that comes up to Nottingham a few days a week. He's had the birth of his daughter, of course, and but all that's perhaps brought a bit of balance to his life, and he's managed to manage that training and the focus, and sometimes just being able to relax and take his mind from the intensity of this has helped.
Yeah, the mental side of this sport is just as important as the physical, and Jack's always had the physicality, and now this last 12, 18 months he's really got his head into the game as well. I think having that focus in and out of the sport has really helped him there.
Yeah, the former Mr. England, models sometimes for clothing companies, got a lot going for him, has Jack Ayres, but all that wasn't even figuring in his plans for this race. He was totally focused and really pushed. It'll be interesting what he says on the pontoon, because Yepifanov really pushed him all the way, and that is exactly what we want to see for the development of this sport. And it was Shakuziev, the Uzbekistani, who took the bronze medal. So there's confirmation. Another quick time, 47.13 for Jack Ayres. He is the world champion. Vladislav Yepifanov from Ukraine takes silver. Katimurot Shakuziev from Uzbekistan takes the bronze. Look at that. It's 0.79 covering the top three.
It's fantastic. 47 seconds for the top three is so fast. This category is just moving on all of the time.
Wow, well, let's hope that Jack Ayres, from a British perspective, that he can keep ahead of that. But great to hear from you, you know, his teammate. You've got yourself on the podium, Rob, which was fantastic to see with that wonderful silver medal. And now your roommate is on the top step of the podium in the VAR, the VL3 category. Great result for Jack Ayres. Great result for British Paracanoe.
Here he comes, world champion again. What a great result, mate. You happy?
Yeah, very happy, very, very happy. You know, last year I had something to prove to then get selection for Tokyo, so I came in with a lot of emotion. This one, it felt like a bit more pressure, trying to like prove my space again, you know, retain my title of world champion. So I was fighting the dragon today, so I'm there.
And a nice result for a new dad, mum and baby daughter watching at home. What do you say to them, Jack?
Yeah, my purpose is so big since having the birth of my baby daughter. She was 9 months yesterday. You know, I haven't seen her for 10 days, missing her like mad, but yeah, this is for her, this is for Remy.
Congratulations, Jack.
Thank you.
Well, perhaps a new balance brought to his life, Jack, but it hasn't affected his preparation. Maybe just made him focus. He did say this. I saw him a couple of weeks ago. He said, you know, when he's up in Nottingham and he's training, that's when he's really, really focused on the job, and he can take a little bit of time off when he goes back home to see his daughter. Yeah,
I can completely concur with that. The birth of my 2 children has coincided with all of the medal success that I've really had in the sport. I think having something that takes your brain away from the sport sometimes is a good thing, so that when you are there, you know what you're there for, you're focused 100%, because all that time away is just, you know, don't want to waste it.
Good to have that balance in your life, and I know you've got a lot of medals gathering in your collection at home, Rob, haven't you, which your children enjoy playing with. Let's hope they're looking after them. Now, we will go to the KL3 category, so the last race in our Paracanoe finals here, but it's a tasty one nonetheless. Hungary, Italy, Germany, France, 2 paddlers for Great Britain, Uzbekistan, Brazil and Australia, all represented in this, the final of the Paracanoe category. And what a Paracanoe World Championships it's been. You know, it's been developing over the last decade or so. And wonderful to see. We've had it in Rio. Tokyo was a big success. More events added for Paris, so it's just going from strength to strength. Right, so we'll have a look at the lineup here. That's the paddler's eye view from our drone shot there. You can see the crowds. There will be up to 10,000 people here watching today. You can see there's lane 1, distinctive colours of Hungary there. That's Nicoletta Molnar. She goes in lane 1. Next to her, Amanda Embriaccio from Italy. There she is, 3rd place in Poznan at the World Cup this year, so watch out for her. Next to her, Felicia Laberer from Germany. She goes in lane 3. There she is, no mistaking that boat. And she's a silver medalist in Poznan. Just missed out on the medals at the World Championships, but did take the bronze in Tokyo at the Paralympics. Nelia Barbosa from France, not been outside the medals, Tokyo, World Championships, Poznan. Always there or thereabouts. Then we have Laura Sugar, the teacher. I'm sure she'll have a few fans from Uppingham School watching her here. She goes in lane 5. Hope Gordon, she goes in lane 6. She's already a medalist, a silver medalist in the VL3 category earlier on, Hope Gordon. Shaznoa Mizareva from Uzbekistan goes in 7. Marie Santilli from Brazil in picture there. She goes in 8. Next to her, Kathleen O'Kelly-Kennedy from Australia, 8th place in Poznan, and just in May this year, she is in lane 9. So just a few moments to go before the start of this. Right, just before we start, Rob, give us your prediction.
Hope and Laura are both going incredibly fast back in Nottingham, and the British regattas this year, they've been trading places, trading blows, 1st and 2nd. So, but also Barbosa are probably one of the quickest starters in the world in the women's category. So this is
hard to call.
Well, I can't call it. I'm not going to call it.
Well, that's exactly what we want, isn't it? You know, we want it to be that close. So, Molnar, Embriaccio, Laberer, Barbosa, Sugar, Gordon, Mizareva, Santilli, and O'Kelly-Kennedy line up for the final of the KL3 women's 200 metres.
Thank you, ladies. Ready, set.
So good start from the German, 3 from the top of the picture. There's Laura Sugar in picture, trying to keep that stroke long. The Brazilian you can see in lane 8, much higher stroke rate, but Laura Sugar's really trying to lock onto the water. She's in the centre of your picture, maybe at the centre of the echelon, maybe leading at the moment, but lane 7, the Uzbekistana, Mizareva, she got away to a good start. We're approaching halfway. This is where the power, where the strength endurance comes in, and leaning forward hard is Laura Sugar. There she is in picture. She's keeping the stroke wrong. She's controlling the breathing. She's driving the legs. She's being pushed stroke for stroke by Hope Gordon. 1 place to Laura's left, but Laura completely focused on the job in hand. Here she comes. Looks like Laura Sugar is going to take gold once again. Very tight for the silver. France and Germany right in it there. So, no doubt about the winner, Laura Sugar, and as we've seen many times with the British paddlers, it's the strength, it's the ability to maintain that pace and keep going while the others begin to fall away. That's what Laura Sugar did so well. A teammate, Hope Gordon, perhaps just missing out on the medals this time round, but an incredibly close race for the silver and bronze medal. Probably France and Germany will await confirmation of that, but the smile on Laura Sugar's face tells it all.
Yeah, and she's really been focusing on that part of her race back at home. She's really been struggling with the back end this year, and all she's been doing is focusing, training session after training session, almost in floods of tears sometimes, because she's trying that hard, she's training that much. But there you go, all paying off today.
Indeed, yeah, she must be delighted. Really great to see there. In the early part of the race, 4 boats. It was the French, as you spotted, Barbosa. Great start. It was Laura and Hope from Britain, and it was Mizareva from Ukraine. Literally centimetres between their bows, but that strength endurance really showed there, didn't it? Keeping the stroke long, keeping the focus. Laura Sugar, almost half a boat length on the French paddler Barbosa, who maintained her early speed, take the silver, and then Laberer from Germany taking the bronze. So, great scenes there, good spread of medals. Looks like Great Britain will be on top of the medal table for the Paracanoe once again at this World Championships. They are the most successful nation. We've got confirmation there, 46.48. That is quick from Laura Sugar. Nelia Barbosa from France takes silver. Felicia Laberer from Germany takes the bronze. And Hope Gordon just misses out this time round. Only a second between Laura Sugar and her. But hopefully we'll get a word with Laura, just being congratulated by the other athletes there. She'll make her way around to the pontoon, just catch her breath a little bit and come and have a chat with Ross before we wrap up our Paracanoe races for the 2022 World Championships.
Yeah, that's an unbelievably quick time. The water's really warm out here, and also now that the wind has just turned, these times are going to be they're going to be set in stone for a while. I think it's unbelievably fast racing.
They're going to be difficult to beat, aren't they? You're right. I mean, times weren't that quick earlier, and for your race, you know, it was a little bit blustering. There was a little bit of a headwind, wasn't it? But it's turned around now, and the paddlers going really quickly. Some paddlers work well with that. Other paddlers really find it hard racing with the tailwind. As you can see, the emotion just perhaps getting the best of Laura Schuck. You can see just what it means to her, what it means to the whole Paracanoe team. You know, she's put most of her life on hold. Yes, she manages to keep doing some teaching. She's a big fan of athletics and hockey as well. She takes part in those sports, but you know, canoeing's been her life ever since, really. Back in 2018, I think it was, with Colin Radmore got her started. She's just really enjoyed being part of this, and this is kind of the icing on the cake for all that hard work.
Yeah, you can really see the transference from athletics as well. That's where the back end really kicks in, when it's working through those hips, through that core. She still keeps up running now. She cross trains, and I think that's a big part of why she's still so successful.
Well, that's really good to hear, and there's that crossover between the other sports and, as I said, teaching. So the pupils at Uppingham School, if you're watching, I hope you're enjoying this. What a fantastic teacher and what a fantastic role model that you have. And here she is down with Ross.
Just keep coming a little bit, Laura. Yeah, Cedric. Laura, congratulations. I can see this world title means a lot to you.
Yeah, definitely. It's been like a hard year for everyone because we've kind of had a reset and going, and then for me, since my heats, I don't know what's happened. I've just been really unwell and I've not been able to like eat for the last day, so I wasn't even sure if I was going to race today, and I took a lot of fight, so I'm happy I raced.
Oh, you should be happy because you're a world champion again.
Yeah, I had no idea what happened on the line. I just kind of like, it was a bit of a blur towards the end, so when I saw it come up that I'd won, like, I literally was like, if I come first or last, I'll be happy just as long as I can race. So I'm so happy. Us as a Great Britain team have had like a rebuild year, and we've really like kept each other together. Like my roommate Charlotte today has been a massive help, like, and she had her own race, you know, to do, and they've all been so supportive around me the last couple of days, and I've really not thought I was going to be able to race, so I'm very happy.
Good on you. Glad you got out of bed and came and raced today. Well done, Laura. Congratulations.
And the medics here as well. They've really helped in the last couple of days. So thank you to the volunteers here at Lake Banook and for the ICF, because they've been a massive help. So thank you.
Well done, Laura.
Well, nice to hear that comment for the support. There they are, there's the crowd. We've got a lot of Canadians who are helping out, huge number of volunteers as well. So thank you to those, and of course the International Canoe Federation. Thank you to you, Rob. It's been wonderful to have you join us. Just briefly, as we see the medal table, Britain at the top of the medal table, what are you going to take home with you from this event?
Silver medal. No, I'm joking.
Very wise.
No, it's been a lot of learning for everyone. I think it shows that the strength in depth of UK, the fact that Laura just said that we were on a build year, so we wasn't really coming here for hoping for that much success. We just wanted to see that we're around the medal table, that everybody's working hard, that we're working on everything that we've been looking for this year, and to go home top of the medal table, it's just a bonus.
Well, it's fantastic. Well, you enjoyed taking your medal home and showing it to your children, along with a little handmade flower that you got as well. Congratulations to you. Congratulations, of course, to the British team. They've done a fantastic job. But congratulations to all these Paracanoe athletes that have come out here in Canada and raced for gold. It's been wonderful to see such competitive races, such close racing, and the future looks bright for Paracanoe. Well, we'll wrap up the Paracanoe. We'll say goodbye to Rob, who's got to take his leave, and we'll look forward to seeing the first of 12 canoe sprint events, starting with the men's C1 200 metres very shortly. Welcome to Canoe 22, the ICF Paracanoe and Sprint World Championships here on Lake Banook, the city of lakes. In fact, 23 of them in this region alone. And we've got some great racing for you this morning. I'm delighted to say that alongside me, I have Laurence Vincent Lapointe, who's going to join me for commentary. Laurence, of course, an 11-time World Championship gold medalist and double Olympic medalist in Tokyo. And Laurent, to have a World Championships on your home water must be fantastic.
It is indeed amazing, because I've trained here before and I know how the community here is so nice, and I've seen it, we've seen it. It's so many people are here to cheer for every countries, and they're all excited, and it's a beautiful course, beautiful day, and I'm glad to be here.
Great, well, it's great to have you. So we'll get started very shortly. We've got the C1 men 200 meters. There's the details on the boat. Now, this was your event. You might know a thing or two about C1 200 meters, I think, having been, of course, the Olympic silver medalist in Tokyo. We've got the lineup here. We've got Kazakhstan, Italy, Spain, Germany, Poland, Ukraine, Georgia, Hungary, and the Czech Republic to look forward to. This, of course, is an event in the Olympics for the women, but not for the men. So does that mean a little bit of difference, perhaps, for some of these paddlers?
Most likely, yes, because these paddlers might not be specialized in 200 since it is not on the Olympic event anymore. So some of them might be more of longer distance paddlers, so they have to figure out a different race plan for this race here. But I believe we'll see a very good show nonetheless.
I'm sure we will, certainly if the heats are anything to go by. So we'll just go through the lineup here. Kazakhstan, Victor Stepanov in lane 1. Italy's Mattia Alfonso goes in 2. Alfonso Benavides, very experienced paddler. He goes in lane 3 for Spain. Nico Pickert from Germany in 4. Oleksiy Kodladic from Poland goes in 5. Ole Borakov from the Ukraine is in 6. There he is in picture. 3rd at Rachice in this event, the World Cup earlier this season. Zaza Nadiradze outside the medals in Rachice, just outside the medals in the World Championships for Nadiradze. 4th place for him in Copenhagen. He goes in lane 7. David Koryansky took the silver medal in the Czech Republic in the World Cup in May. The Hungarian goes in 8. And then Petr Fuchser, younger brother, of course, of Martin Fuchser, he goes in 9. So false starts we'll sometimes see in these buckets. Laurence, I'm not sure you were ever guilty of that.
I don't remember ever being guilty of that, but it can be quite difficult to refocus after that happens. So hopefully everyone here is really ready for that eventuality and set up in their mind.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. You know, they have the focus for the race, and that can be disrupted by a false start. But let's hope they get underway. We'll get started. This is the final of the C1 men 200 meters.
Ready, set.
Okay, we're underway. A little bit difficult to get away on the start, of course, in the canoe categories, particularly when it's windy. Thankfully, we've got good conditions today, but we've got a race on here, and as we see here, we could choose anyone really from the field there. But top of the picture, lane 1, Victor Stepanov from Kazakhstan, currently going well. You can see there's the Ukrainian in picture now. Ole Borakov, bronze medalist in the Czech Republic at Rachice this year. I'm not sure he's going to take the win this time round. It's going to be incredibly close. 4 there from the top of the picture. We've got a race between the German and the Pole. Very difficult to call that one. Germany and Poland all on the lunge for the line. The Pole believes he's got it. We'll await confirmation of that from the judges. We'll see that on the graphic in just a moment when it's being confirmed. But certainly, Oleksiy Kodladic from lane 5 thinks he won it. A sort of rueful look round from the German there. That is Nico Pickert thinking, oh, perhaps I've just missed out that time round. There it is, confirmation. Oleksiy Kodladic from Poland taking the first gold medal of the canoe sprint events at the World Championships here. First of 12 events that we'll see in today's program. So, Laurent, we often think 200 metres is all about the start, but of course, there's a lot more to it than that.
Indeed. So if you have a good start, it makes or breaks a race, but also even if you don't, you can, it's all about pushing until the end. And I've seen it so many times where someone just comes back in the last 50 meters and might not be by much, but it's just push all the way. Sometimes I think it's like the race where I don't even think of what I'm doing. I'm just pushing until the end and hoping for the best. And you can see, it seems like the German might have shot a little early, and that's what could have taken the victory from him.
I was just about to say that. Well spotted that. And I'm not sure you're a fan of lunging for the line, but I know a lot of the paddlers do, but it's knowing exactly where that line is and how to time it right, because as you said, it looked like the German got his bow in front, but then that was too early before the line, and therefore the Pole, who was maybe more conservative with his lunge, got his bow over the line first, and he's with Ross.
Very, very.
It was a close race.
I'm very happy.
Yeah. It was a hard race.
Thank you, God. Thank you, my team. Thank you, my family, my girl. I am very, very happy. This is a good race. This is a good race.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah!
Good stuff. Okay, there's confirmation. 39.25 for Oleksiy Kodladic from Poland. Second place goes to Nico Pickett from Germany. Third place, Viktor Stepanov from Kazakhstan. Look at that. 0.19 separating the top three, and each and every paddler in there within a second of each other. It's good for the sport.
That's very impressive. Having everyone within a second is really, like you said, great for the sport.
And of course, something that you saw develop in your event particularly, wasn't it, when you were a country mile ahead of the rest of the field when it first started, but then everyone managed to get closer and closer, which is perhaps, the greatest legacy that you leave the sport in.
I believe it is. I always say I'm proud of my medals at the Olympics, but I'm even more proud to see how the field of women's canoe has improved. So,
indeed. Right, well, we've got a packed field here in the K4 500 metres. So this, the final of the women's K4 500 metres. We've got Great Britain, we've got Hungary, Spain, New Zealand. Watch for them in lane 4, of course. Dame Lisa Carrington, multi-Olympic medalist, taking part in that one in the distinctive black boat. Poland, Germany, always there or thereabouts, the Germans. Australia, Mexico doing very well to get here. And then, of course, Canada, who will be popping. So, Debs Kerr in the front of the British boat there, backed up by Emma Russell. What a result for these two, making the final of the World Championships in both the K4 and the K2 500 metres. A great event for these. We've got Emily Lewis in position 3, and then, of course, Rebi Simon in position 4 in that boat. Then the black boat of the Hungarian crew. Now, this is an interesting one. It's quite a young crew. Hungarians haven't been outside the top 2 places for over 10 years at the World Championships. But they're going to be put under pressure by a number of crews in this field. Not least the Spaniards, Ozandi, Garcia, Pelach and Portela in the Spanish boat. They go in lane 3. Along next to them, now Alicia Hoskin is in position 1. Lisa Carrington, multi-Olympic medalist. If she was a country, she'd be pretty high up the medal table alone in the Olympic Games. She's backed up by Olivia Brett and Tara Vaughan. Then the Poles, watch for the Poles. Karolina Naya, Anna Polowska, Adriana Kakol and Dominika Puto have been wonderful all season. Germans, Rollings, Aft, Jaksch and Dietrich go in lane 6. Watch out for them. They'll be strong in the second half. Then we've got Bia Bull, Clark and Stein Price from Australia. They've had a few changes since the Tokyo Olympics when the boat came 7th place, so we might expect better from them this time round at the World Championships. We've got the Mexicans, Alanis, Romero, Briones, Montemeo in 8, and Canada, Langlois, Davison, Melanson and Rebecca go in lane 9, and a fantastic result for the Canadians to make this final in what is such an intense race.
I'll be honest, I'm incredibly excited to see how my fellow teammates do on this course at home today. So I'll be watching and cheering. I'll be honest, I'll cheer for them mostly.
Good for you, we don't mind that. And of course, actually being in lane 9 might help as well, because they're right next to the crowd. So I'm sure they'll be boosted and buoyed by that, but they'll also be looking to execute their perfect race and focusing on these final few moments before the race. And it just perhaps gives us a minute or so to find out what it is that you would do in that last minute or two before the race, when you were lining up, when you were out there on your own or with your teammate, perhaps Katie Vincent. What would you be thinking in these moments before the race begins?
It's very funny because I most of the time would be, you know, focusing on my breathing, and I had a checklist on everything I wanted to do. So check my feet, the placement of my feet, placement of my body, placement of my hands. You know, it's all about the checklist that helps you focus and just calm down. But the best race I've had, I was not thinking of anything, which is surprisingly.
Yeah, it's really interesting that, isn't it? It's a subconscious taking over, and therefore you're not using the conscious mind, and you're just in the zone, as many athletes call it, don't they? In that purple patch. I wonder who's going through that right now in these last few moments before the race. There we go. Do you know these Canadian paddlers very well, Laurence?
I know all of them, and the first one actually is one of my very close teammates.
Adriana Langlois. Indeed, and a really tough job, isn't it? Setting the rhythm in the bow of the boat there. There we go. They've got the lineup for the final of the K4 women's 500 meters. Great Britain in the blue boat in 1, Hungary in 2, Spain in 3, New Zealand in 4, Poland in 5, Germany in 6, Australia in 7, Mexico going 8, and Canada in 9. Right, Mexicans have been a surprise package of this World Championships, not just in the K4 and a couple of the other boats as well. They got away to the best start. But this, remember, it's over a minute and a half, over 90 seconds worth of 500-meter racing. It's not just about the start, but you can see already the black boat there just stalking the Polish. Now, the Polish have been in fantastic form all season. They've got such a great system. There's the Canadians in picture, looking good at the moment, Laurence.
Looking good, yes.
They are. They're just out the picture at the minute, at the bottom of your picture. We're going to focus on the Polish. We're also going to focus on the Australian boat. 2 lanes to the Poles' left, because they are going well at the moment. Now, Karolina Naya and Anna Pulowska at the front of that Polish boat. They've been here before. They are having a wonderful season. Expect them to pick it up once again. It's up to the Australians to try and hang with them. The New Zealanders to stay in there as well. The Germans, as I said, will come strong. They're in picture in the black boat right now. They'll look to push to get on the medals. Looks like Hungary's going to miss out this time round. It's got to be the Poles. They've been in scintillating form all season, and they're destroying the rest of the field. We'll see as they get to the final few meters before the finish line. Almost a boat length on the Australians, who are having a belter of a race, and right next to them, the Mexicans. But Naya, Pulowska, Kakol and Puto, they have been imperious all season. That is a huge margin between them, the Australians, and goodness me, the Mexicans look like they may have snuck the bronze medal. Wow, well, 2 just fantastic results there. The Poles, who've just been wonderful all season. They put all their eggs in the crew boat basket, and it really is paying dividends. They're a wonderful bunch. They describe themselves like sisters, the girls in that Polish boat. They've had a great season. They've got a good buzz about it, and when they were put under pressure, when they were asked the questions, they had every single answer for them, and that is a big margin to win the K4 event by. But then also, of course, we have to look at the Australians. Great result for them, and they'll be really pleased with that. And Mexico, where did they come from?
I have no clue, but they can be very, very proud, because winning on this scene is amazing. And I mean, everyone here is the best of their country, and these countries are the best of the best. So getting on to that bronze medal from Mexico is incredible.
It is indeed, yeah. I mean, and this is such a competitive race. Look, we're looking at Hungary missing out on the medals for the first time that anyone can even remember in this event. Often it's seen as the Blue Ribbons event for many countries and many paddlers, and just shows how impressive the Poles are. Maybe, you know, the Polish crew putting down a marker now to say, look, we are going to go ahead towards Paris 2024, and we are going to smash it. I suggest you other countries get in some other boats if you want to win a gold medal.
Oh, with a full boat ahead of everyone, they are making a statement for sure. Indeed,
they are. So we'll probably get a brief interview, I hope we'll get a brief interview with the Polish paddlers if they can stop celebrating just for a moment with Ross.
I'll say something
What a strong result, what a strong finish.
Yeah.
You must be really happy with the way that race went.
Yeah, it was really great race for us. We come, it's first medal for Poland, I think so, in World Championships. Yes. So we are really happy, and we look forward at Paris. Bang bang.
European Championships.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, always smiling, the Polish girls. There we've got confirmation of the result. 90 seconds, 1 minute 30 for Poland, way ahead, 2 seconds ahead of Australia, and Mexico taking the bronze medal.
Hello, my name is Max. I was part of the gold-winning K4 at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. It was obviously a great experience. We had great 4 years. We have won all the major championships. So now the pressure is back on us, and we have a new guy in the boat and looking forward to compete on a high level.
Yeah, I'm Jacob, second on the Olympic Games 2021, and now I'm paddling with this guy in the K4. It's a new competition for me, and I would like to see what we can do.
Okay, good to see a little clip of the Germans there. Expect big things from them. Always a lot of things expected from the Germans in the K4. Unfortunately for the women, of course, in the K4, they have a little bit of work to do. They're just missing out in the previous race. This, though, the turn of the men. We've got another Canadian crew here. Over in lane 1, that's Nicholas Matviv, Pierre Poulin, Laurent Lavigne and Simon McTavish. Alongside them from Slovakia, Balázs, Misak, Zalka and Botek. A couple of changes since the Tokyo Olympics when they picked up a bronze medal, but no doubt they will be strong. Spisar, Sloof, Zavrel and Havel, bronze medalists at the World Championships for the Czech crew, always there or thereabouts in the crew boats. Then we've got Renschmidt, Liebscher and Lemk, all the Olympic gold medalists from Tokyo, but Ronald Royer having retired, they've put in Jakob Schopf, who's no slouch himself, so watch for the German crew, quite possibly fighting it out with the Spanish here, who were the silver medalists in Tokyo. Sol Craviotto, flag bearer for Spain a few Olympics ago. Carlos Avarello, Marcus Cooper was the Olympic champion way back in 2016, and Rodrigo Gamad, so watch for the Spanish. Polish, Stepan Grabowski, Witak and Michalski in 6. Then we've got Ukrainians, who are the World Championships, Kukuruk, Danielenko, Trunov and Semkin. Watch out for the French, Berger, Beaumont, Olympic silver medalist in the K1 200 meters back in 2016 for the 40-year-old. Koch and de Courchemont. New coaching setup in France means that they may well threaten, and they did pick up a bronze medal in Poznan. And then rounding it up with the fast-starting Portuguese, Ribeiro, Baptista, Silva and Varela. 8th place, made the final at the Tokyo Olympics for the Portuguese. They will be nearest your pictures. These K4s in this 500-meter event, it was a new event for Tokyo, very, very successful event for Tokyo. We'll see it once again in Paris. That's not in these paddlers' minds. What is in their mind is trying to execute the best race possible. Here for the final in the K4 500 meters at the World Championships here on Lake Banook in Canada. The pink boat of the Germans, not always the quickest starters. They've got away well. Right next to them, stroke for stroke, as we've seen this season, is the Spanish. Spanish were the silver medalists in Tokyo, remember. The Germans were the gold medalists. Don't discount the Ukrainians. They're the World Championships. They won in Poznan in Poland. They're in lane 7. The distinctive yellow and blue just to the left of your picture. In fact, right in picture now. Extremely well drilled. It's been a tough season for the Ukrainians, but this K4 have been scintillating. So the French with a little bit of work to do. It looks like the early pace going with the Poles. The Spanish are up there in the white boat, middle of your picture. We've got the Germans as well. Expect the Germans to pick it up. They're through halfway, and now we've got the final 250 meters to go. So Spain pick up the stroke rate once again. They've lifted it. They're putting the Germans under pressure. The Germans have got a lot to do. We're in the red boys. That means the final 100 meters. These paddlers can barely see. The paddlers are going around 130 strokes a minute. The spray is making it very difficult to see, but it looks like Spain are gritted teeth. They're holding on. The Germans are coming quickly. It's going to be Spain. It's going to be Germany. It's going to be Ukraine who take the medals. Quite which order for the silver and bronze, I'm not sure, but certainly a great effort from the Spanish crew there. Craviotto, Arevalo, Cooper and Guimard. What a crew. And what a race that was. Germans with a little bit to do, but they were pushing and pushing towards the end, and almost took the gold away from the Spanish.
And to win such a race is not having only the best race plan. It's not having the best synchronicity. It's a bunch of different things that make it happen, and we saw from the Spanish crew such an amazing race, and they put everything, every single thing was ready for this exact event.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Really interesting, you know, looking to execute the plan, but of course also things happen in a race as well, and you've got to be able to respond to those, and perhaps they're doing all those things, as you said, right. And look at the gritted teeth there of Sol Craviotto in the front, multi-Olympic medalist, but he knows all about technique, but he also knows what grit and determination is needed to just hold on when you've got your nose in front. So let's just see if we can clear up the results here. We've got Spain, no doubt about them, in gold. We've got Ukraine charging late. Maybe the Germans just ahead of the Ukrainians. There we go. Looking at that, look at the top of the picture, just looking at the Canadians there, Laurence, you know, they weren't in the medals, but they're very, very close, and in fact, all 9 boats there, pretty close to each other.
They did great. I'm super proud of them. And the Ukrainian also, having mentioned, like you said, all the different, the difficult year they have had, I'm super proud of them too.
Yeah, I think everyone feels that way about the Ukrainians. They've been really well adopted over here in Canada. So 1:20 from Spain there. That's a quick time. They take the gold. Germany have to settle this time round with the silver. Ukraine in the bronze, and hopefully we'll get a word from one of the Spanish paddlers with Ross.
You can see what this means to them and how hard that was. Congratulations. Well done, world champions. How was the race? Tell us about the race.
Sí, ha sido una muy buena carrera, nos hemos encontrado muy bien. La carrera ha sido un poquito dura debido al viento en contra, pero bueno, hemos tenido muy buenas sensaciones y al final hemos conseguido ganar.
Well done, congratulations.
Well, really interesting just to see what it takes out. You've got 80 seconds worth of racing there. It's not a long period of time. But it just takes out so much from these paddlers. They give everything. It's almost like a 200-meter race, isn't it? You know, it's like a stretched 200-meter race rather than a truncated 1,000-meter race. It's that intense.
Yes, you start fast, and it's the one who dies the least, in my opinion, who gets the medal. So, yeah, that's it is painful and hard, but they've done amazing.
They have done an amazing job, and look at that, what an amazing view it is, of course, over Lake Banook there, and in the Mi'kmaq dialect, Banook means first lake, and Mi'kmaq were the first to navigate the waters of Lake Banook, so it's good to be able to recognize the heritage and the culture of this area. Right, we can see the crowds there. I said earlier, we were due to get about 10,000 people here. If you're around in the area in Dartmouth, come down and have a look. Buy yourself a Team Canada t-shirt or a Canoe 22 scarf or flag and enjoy some racing. There's plenty more to come. Just finished with the K4s, but we've got C2 women 500 meter race coming up soon. Laurence, that of course is the race where you and Katie Vincent, of course, took your bronze medal in Tokyo. I guess you've got happy memories of that.
I do have super nice memories, and training with Katie. She was such a great training partner. It always made me push the best I could do, and I'm excited to see how she and Sloane McKenzie are going to do today together. Quite excited to see that.
Yeah, because Sloane is quite young, isn't she? I think 20 years old, so bringing on the next generations that we've already talked about. And funnily enough, I bumped into Katie's dad, who was down there, Big Brother, who I think got into the sport before she did and brought her along, and she's now doing the same for other people. So yes, it will be interesting to see how they get on. We're just waiting for a medal ceremony. We should see the award ceremony, the C1 men at 200 meters, the first of the canoe sprint races that we saw a little bit earlier on. We're just waiting for that now. But yeah, maybe just before we start, we can talk about that, your experience there of Tokyo, picking up those 2 medals. And it must have been a hard fight for you. I know it was a very difficult year leading up to then, but also just for the decade leading up to the Olympics as well, to fight for canoe to get it into the Olympic program.
Indeed. We're seeing the crowd, sorry.
Absolutely, and the waiting many Canada fans, some of them even got the names of the people that they're supporting on the backs of their T-shirts, which is good to see.
But to answer your question, indeed, it hasn't always been easy. And I remember getting to my first World Championships in 2010 and being told that I was doing something that was wrong, right? That I shouldn't, as a female, be paddling in a C1. So knowing that we've come so far and seeing that my teammates are actually, my younger teammates are actually entitled to the right of paddling. And that for me is just so great.
Yeah, it's a big change. Big change, and you're absolutely right. Not soon enough. So here we have the medal ceremony for the C1 men 200 meters, the first of our canoe sprint races that we've seen this morning. We can see Thomas Konechko there, the ICF president, will be dishing out the medals, which is nice to see. And men's C1 200 meters, as we said, that's not an Olympic event, it is in the women, but still, these guys are World Championship medalists.
We will now present the medalists for the C1 men's 200-meter event. The medals will be presented by Thomas Konechko, president of the International Canoe Federation, accompanied by the team leader from Poland. The bronze medalist is Viktor Stepanov, representing Kazakhstan.
So Viktor Stepanov there from Kazakhstan picking up the bronze medal. Thomas Konechko, new into his role as the ICF president, dishing out the medals. Very proud of the achievement of hosting this World Championships in Canada. And Viktor Stepanov very proud of picking up the bronze medal.
The silver medalist is Nico Piekert, representing Germany.
So silver medal goes to Germany, Nico Piekert. Good result for him, a little bit disappointed crossing the line. It was so close between him and the Polish paddler, but I'm sure he'll reflect on that silver medal and be pleased.
The gold medalist and world champion is Oleksiy Koliadich, representing Poland.
Oleksiy Koliadich is the world champion. Nobody can take that from him. Gets his gold medal from Thomas Konechko, president of the International Canoe Federation. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of him in the future in both the Olympic and non-Olympic events.
We will now hear the national anthem of Poland.
Okay,
everyone, your 2022
there
C1
is the
men's
world champion in the men's C1 200 meter
medalist.
category. There are the medalists. Plenty of people to take photos down there, but Koliadic from Poland, the first to pick up a medal in the canoe sprint events at this World Championships. We've plenty more to bring you in today's program. C2 500 meter race, and alongside me, of course, Laurence Vincent-Lapointe, who, along with Katie Vincent, won the bronze medal in the event that we're shortly about to see, the C1 500 meters. C2 500 meters, I should say. Well, you did win a medal in the C1 as well, Laurence, of course, and we might get a chance to talk about that a little bit later. So we'll see that race shortly, and good. And as you mentioned, Laurence, earlier, Katie Vincent, we will see with a new teammate, Sloane McKenzie, going in lane 8. And I suppose once you've made the final, anything can happen.
Indeed. So this year, at least the wind seems to be pretty straight. So it won't affect our athletes as much, because you don't want side wind. It's always unfair. It feels wrong for athletes. So it's good that the wind seems straight, but at this point, it's anyone's game.
Yeah, it is, and I suppose a lot of it comes down to mental preparation as well at this point. And interesting, you talk about the wind, and for the kayaks, not so bad. They have the rudders, they're sitting lower in the boats, but for the canoes, the wind can cause a lot of disruption and trouble for the paddlers, but thankfully just a light breeze on the lake here. And no matter what lane you're in, you should still have a very good chance of getting in amongst the medals. So we'll just look at the lineup here. Moldova, watch for those Daniela Koku and Maria Olarasu in lane 1. Then we've got Germany, Lisa Jan and Sophie Koch, bronze medalist in Poznan a little bit early this season. Axel Renard and Eugenie d'Orange, of course, for France. And this young crew making good progress, so they'll be pleased to have made this final, and they'll be in with a shout. Now, alongside them, a massive lead in the earlier rounds for Zhu Zhizhao and Sun Mengya. Really dominant early on, dominant in the Czech Republic at the World Cup. But Du Bois and Segura, Yaroslades Du Bois and Catherine Segura, the young crew from Cuba, just getting better and better, it seems, with every race, will put them under pressure, as will Ludmila Lutzan, Anastasia Chetverikova, the silver medalist, just ahead of you and Katie Vincent, Laurence, at the Tokyo Olympics, the world champions, 4th in the Czech Republic. It's been a difficult and disrupted season for them, but let's hope they've got the bit between the teeth in this race. Giada Bragatu and Blanca Nagy, the young Hungarian crew, did so well in the Hungarian selection to make the team. Now there's Katie Vincent and Sloane McKenzie in picture, looking good, Laurence. Next to them, Sylwia Szybska and Julia Walczak from Poland. Just might give us a moment to say, how do we think the Canadian crew is going to get on?
I have no idea. I've seen them race for the first time, well, from what I can remember, yesterday, and I was just very impressed by the way they were paddling together. So I'm excited to see. You know, we've said it, anyone's game right now, so I cannot pronounce myself right as of now.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. You know, just who manages to execute their race plan best to respond. I mean, no doubt, the Chinese who are in picture now, we haven't seen a lot of dominant performances across the board in this World Championships, but we have from them, and this is a really exciting crew, the young Cubans as well. You know, when I watch them, I don't see the silky smooth technique that you and Katie Vincent have, but I do see a lot of potential.
Indeed, they've been very impressive this year during World Cups and everything. Yeah,
they have indeed, as of course have the Ukrainians, both paddling on the same side. The Ukrainians, both right-handers, paddling on the same side, must make it a little bit difficult perhaps for steering on that one, but it seems to work for them.
Yes, so I've done that for a few years, and it is possible. It is very, very possible, as long as you're synchronized very well and the person in the back is steering the best they can.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've got the lineup. We have Moldova, Germany, France, China, Cuba, Ukraine, Hungary, Canada and Poland in the final of the C2 women 500 meters. So the start underway, and unsurprisingly, it is the Cubans with that choppy, powerful stroke. These long-levered Cubans who get away very well from the start. There in the centre of your picture, right next to them, just 4 from the top of your picture, is the Chinese, really latching onto those strokes already. They're going well, so we've got Cuba, we've got China, and we've got, just stalking them at the minute, the Ukrainians. So it's early days at the moment, just maybe the Canadians keeping their powder dry. They're very, very smooth, you know, they'll hope to come perhaps with a late charge to this race. Great drone shots, we can see there, picture of the Cubans, but the Chinese, as they've shown in the earlier rounds, really beginning to dominate this one.
The Chinese are usually super strong throughout the race, so there's no catching them up unless they get really tired. So right as of now, they're in the lead, and they probably are to stay there.
Yeah, and it must have given them so much confidence to really dominate the rest of the field. They were 3 or 4 seconds ahead of everyone else in the earlier rounds. Good to see Hungarians, a young Hungarian crew, really putting in a burn there and looking well, looking good together. So this will be an interesting one. So it's a fairly recent Hungarian crew. They did win the Hungarian trials, did very well there. They're looking to put the Chinese under pressure. So maybe the Chinese are getting tired. Who knows? We've got, what, 20 seconds left perhaps from now. Still a good margin, though, as we pan out. We can see the Hungarians, they may be coming, but they've still got a lot to do. It's the Cubans right next to the Chinese that have really struggled. Ukraine is beginning to pick it up. As the camera pans out, we should see, there it is, the white bow of the Ukrainians being stalked stroke for stroke by the Hungarians. They're not going to take the win away from the Chinese paddlers. They do look tired. They look as if they're languishing a little bit now, but they've done enough early on. It's going to be China who take the gold. They were very much the favourites. The Ukrainians using every ounce of their experience to get the silver. Hungarians bronze, and the Polish Canadians not far away from the medals, whereas the Cubans really did struggle over the last 100 metres.
The Chinese can be very, very satisfied with their work, because even last year at the Olympics, they were such a strong crew. They're really putting the bar super high up for the international community there in women's canoe.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? It's up for the rest of them to come and get them. But certainly the Hungarians were coming, weren't they? That was really, you spotted that, didn't you? Right away, just about the half, just before the halfway point. Hungarians really, really picked it up. They can see the Ukrainians, and you talk about synchronicity and harmony and perfect timing. Czech Republic there, absolutely spot on in the back of that boat.
And I'm so amazed to see how the Ukrainian have been doing here at this World Championships, because I remember World Cups was not always easy. They had just the start of the war and everything, and so to see that they are doing so great, like this crew is the crew that got a silver medal last year at the Olympics, and to see that again they came in second right behind the Chinese is to prove how much they worked for it and how they can be proud of this.
Yeah, you know, in many ways, maybe that's their gold medal in a sense, you know. Certainly, Ludmila Lutzan looked very emotional in some of the World Cups. It's been a difficult journey for them, hasn't it? Anastasia Chetverikova, well, she's set to marry her fiance later on this season, so something to really look forward to. And we'll see him racing actually a little bit later. Yeah, really good for the Hungarians to get in amongst those medals. And who knows, maybe with better preparation next year, they'll look to put the Chinese under pressure.
Who knows?
So we may well see the Chinese crew come and have a word with Ross on the pontoon. So Ukraine, Ludmila Lutzan, Anastasia Chetverikova, really pleasing silver medal for them, and look like the Hungarians, we'll just get confirmation of that in a minute, taking a very positive bronze medal for them.
Congratulations, China.
Thank you.
Paralympic champions, Olympic champions, and now world champions again. Congratulations. How was the race?
应该怎么样？我感觉这次的比赛我们发挥的也是比较好的，然后我们的对手也很强，然后我们都在提高。然后这次的比赛我感觉也是对我们前期的训练有了一个很好的，就是前期训练的成果有了一个肯定。
Well done, congratulations.
Well, congratulations to both those paddlers who really were favourites for this event. And unfortunately, I can't translate that. But what I can say is that you can tell by their body language that there was a really tough race out there, and they really were favourites to take that. But they were put under pressure towards the end of the race. Now, 2 seconds is quite a big margin, but it doesn't tell the whole story, does it? They really put it out there early on, and they were beginning to tire towards the end.
Indeed, and 2 seconds is also the difference we saw in the women's K4. So it is possible, even on a longer standing race, but we saw such a great performance from them today that they can be proud of that 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be. Ukraine in second, Hungary in third, Poland just missing out on the medals, and Canada there, sixth. So a solid result for them, and something to work for Katie Vincent and Sloane Mackenzie as the years progress.
Yeah, having a younger crew now, they have to, get in the game and work for the next few years if they want to be in Paris.
Well, I feel sure that they will. Certainly, if they need to ask any experienced paddlers, there's one or two around for them to do so. Now then, C2 men 500-meter final coming up very shortly. So we're racing over the same distance in the same event. This was not an Olympic event in Tokyo, but I believe it will be for Paris 2024. So becoming ever competitive as we get towards Paris. Of course, we've got the selection, the Olympic qualification event happening at the World Championships in Duisburg in Germany next year. So we're already building towards Olympic qualification. Loic Lénard and Adrien Barr there. You can see the French in lane 3. We had the French in lane 1, I should say. Ukrainians, Vitaly Vergeles and Andriy Rybachok, who is due to marry his fiancée, Anastasia Chetverikova, who we just saw picking up a medal in the previous race later this season. So some good news, some positive news for the Ukrainians to celebrate. China, Louis Hao and Ji Bowen in lane 3. Nikolai Krakwin and Daniele Santini, the Italians, the world champions, in fact. And bronze medal at Czech Republic this season proved that they're in pretty good shape. They go in lane 4. Viktor Glasnov and Tomasz Barniak from Poland go in lane 5, just outside the medals at the World Championships last year in Copenhagen for them. Katiana Garcia and Pablo Martinez, they were the winners in the Czech Republic in Račice earlier this season. The young Spanish paddlers with a great deal of potential. They're in lane 6. Next to them, a little bit of a change in size there. Sebastian Brendel really is a man mountain in the front of that boat. Goodness me, what hasn't he won? The 34-year-old, he's along with Tim Hecker in lane 7 for Germany. Jonathan Haidu and Adam Fiket, they were silver medalists at the World Championships. The Hungarians go in lane 8. And rounding up in the black boat there, the Lithuanians just approaching the buckets now. Henrikas Zustautas and Vadim Korobov, bronze medalist in Poznan earlier this season. They're in lane 9. As you said, Laurence, pretty good conditions. Maybe just a slight headwind, but not favouring one particular lane in this event.
And that's exactly what you want for a canoe event.
That's right, and we're underway already with the C2 men 500-meter A final. So a fantastic close race in the women's, and we may well see the same here in the men's. As we look at the start, we're expecting the Hungarians. They got away well. You can also see 2 from the top of your picture. The Ukrainians, Vergeles and Rybachok, they were second in Poznan this season, picked up the silver medal. They got away well, but it is with the Hungarians at the moment. So Hungarians' technique holding up in these slightly blustery conditions. But as you can see there, I think we can see 8 boats there. Can't quite see the Lithuanians, but all with a chance in this one.
Indeed, every boat right now is in the race, basically. There's no one who's taking a clear lead right now. So.
No, this is really interesting. It's anyone's to really take this by the scruff of the neck. Now, if this was the 1,000 meters, that would probably be what the Germans would be doing. But this, which will probably be the new Olympic distance for Paris, well, this is a bit more of a difficult ask for the Germans, but they're right up there now as we get to the final 200 meters of this race. Germans have picked it up. Polish have picked it up. The Spaniards are there as well. You can see, in fact, Spain maybe just picking up with a higher stroke rate. There they are in picture, looking good at the moment. Paddlers working together, vertical paddles, they're in the red, boys. They can sense the wind, they can sense they're chasing down the finish line. The Germans will be coming with that longer stroke, but the Spaniards, like they did in the K4, gritting their teeth and hoping to hold on. The Polish are putting them under pressure as we approach the final few strokes towards the finish line. Looks to be like the Spanish bow, the Chinese are in there, the Germans as well. So Spain were the winners, no doubt about that, Laurence, but a very difficult to call for the silver and bronze.
Indeed, I believe bronze is a very close finish. We'll have to see after the shots, maybe, because, well, at least the Spanish is pretty sure first place, and they can be proud. I can see this. He's cheering in the water, and everyone's happy.
Now, that's not an easy thing to do either, is it? Now, these boats are pretty unstable, so to be able to balance it with one of you and one leg in is a pretty good do there. But you can see the young Spanish crew, Catiano Garcia and Pablo Martinez, really delighted with that.
And cheering, he can afford to cheer. That was an amazing race. I'm sure they had a very clear race plan, and that's what happens with the 500. You can have a good start, but if you have a race plan to accelerate maybe at the 200 or the 300, and the other crews don't, it can very much play in the head of the others. So that's maybe the Spanish had their specific race plan, and it worked for them.
Yeah, perhaps it did. You know, as you said during the race, you know, as we were approaching halfway, this really was anyone's. Perhaps the Lithuanians in lane 9 were out of it, but apart from that, it wasn't. Maybe the Spanish crew moved first. They took the initiative from the rest, as we see the Germans in picture there, really fighting hard. Picked it up early on, and as you said, maybe played on the minds of the other paddlers to think, ooh, the Spanish are obviously going well. So we should see, we'll get a look at the finish in just a moment. So we can see the Spanish, that high stroke rate, working really, really well together. Contrast between them and the Germans with the longer, slightly slower stroke, but looking good in the picture here.
Amazing strokes. Yeah, you can see even the angle of every stroke is the same on both sides. So this is great paddling.
Right, so let's have a look here. So no doubt about the Spanish, but then one to their right, then we've got the Poles. Yeah, it looks like Poland, and maybe then the Chinese, I think it was, taking the bronze. So await confirmation, but from what we can see on the picture there, looks like Spanish take the gold, Poland take the silver, and China get a bronze medal.
Yeah, meaning that the Germans probably did not make the podium by a fraction of a second, which can be heartbreaking. But at the same time, like you mentioned, it's a new distance. It's something that they can work on, and I'm sure we'll see them in the future.
Yeah, you know, they're not far behind, less than 2/10 behind. So Germans, Brendel, the Hecker missing out on the medals, but it is Spain who take the gold in 1:46.32. That's a quick time. Poland in silver, 1:46.81, and then it was the Chinese who got the better of the Germans on the lunge there, 1:46.90. But a healthy position to see how close the racing is, and hopefully we'll get a moment of the Spanish paddlers down there on the pontoon with Ross.
You can see the emotion here. You can see the emotion amongst the Spanish boys. World champions, lads. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Wow, what does this mean for you?
Too much. It means too much. It was a hard year, more in the last months, that we have big problems, and we get up of that, and now getting that result is so crazy, because it's so big for us.
So with all your problems, did you think you could win today?
No, without that, we don't think any more than making our best, and it was always we think in each training, and now we get it again. That's incredible.
World champions, congratulations, well done.
Thank you to everyone is supporting us in the bad moments, and thank you to everyone. Right now, Spanish canoe is where it should be, in the #1 of the world, and we are in the top.
Well, you can see what it means to the two Spanish paddlers, Cateo Garcia and Pablo Martinez there. Watch those names for the future, because they are a very young crew and just getting better and better. And that will give them a lot of confidence going into the winter for training and for next year's racing. So good result for them. Good result for Spain, of course. They were the winner in the men's K4 500 meters. In fact, in that men's K4 500 meters, only about 30 minutes ago, was Marcus Cooper, and he's now racing in the K1 500 meter race. So we'll go back up to the 500 meter start, and we'll be able to bring you the final in this race. There we've got the lineup: Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Portugal. Fernando Pimenta's been in great form this season. Spain, Australia, Italy, Czech Republic and Poland. It's going to be a tight race, this one. It always was when it was Olympic. Last time that was 2008 when Kenny Wallace won the gold medal there. Not Olympic race, this one, but given that the 500 meters is now an event in the K4 for the Olympics, this will be very competitive. So, interesting. Looks like Lawrence. We'll have to wait to see that, but we can't yet see Marcus Cooper on the start. He's got a couple of minutes, so we may well, but we'll see. He's probably pretty tired from that K4 race. But we do see Thorben Rask. Now, he's a really exciting young paddler in lane 1, former junior world marathon champion, and one of the few people to beat Fernando Pimenta this year at a World Cup at the 5,000 meter race. Next to him will be Dennis Kernan. Oh, Marcus Cooper, we've spotted him. He is there. He's only had 30 minutes since the K4 win, but he is there on the start line. We can see Jakob Thorsten there, strong German. Expect good things from him. He was the winner in the Czech Republic. Dennis Kernan, the Swedish paddler we just saw, he's in lane 2. Now, there's Marcus Cooper. He was the Olympic champion back in Rio 2016. He's in lane 5. Just go back to Fernando Pimenta. Fernando Pimenta just won everything in Poznan. Everything he entered, including the mixed K2, he won. He was in great form. He still felt there's a little bit more to give, so we'll see if he's got that. He's also racing in the K1 1,000 meters a little bit later on today. There's Marcus Cooper in lane 5 for Spain, the former Olympic champion over 1,000 meters. Next to him, John Westhausen, who in the individual event was 4th in Poland in Poznan. Mauro Crenna from Italy goes in lane 7. Joseph Dostal, always there or thereabouts in amongst the medals. Loved the 500 meters, also racing the 1,000, but he wants the win in the 500. Then Victor Zewski from Poland, and we're underway with the 500 meter race. Italian in lane 7 getting away well. The Czech paddler Joseph Dostal next to him also getting away well, and I wouldn't be surprised if the black boat and the red cap of Fernando Pimenta in picture, really going for it, also getting away to a good start. So we can see here, it's not going to go Fernando Pimenta's own way as it did in Poland, from start to finish, from gun to tape in every single race he took part in, but he is beginning to stretch a little bit of a lead perhaps, but although he'll be just aware right over to his left. There he is, Joseph Dostal, the big man, over 2 meters of strength and power. Just having a look to his right there, Dostal, he wants the win in this one. He really enjoys the K1 500 meters. He's been there in the medals before. He's been world champion in this event several years ago. He wants to be world champion again. And just as we get to halfway point, Lawrence, we can see it's him. It is the Australian John Westhausen, and it is Fernando Pimenta who are the top 3 at the moment.
And the last 200 meters here are crucial, so we're going to see if Dostal is able to keep that lead, or if someone else is going to come back from behind. We're almost hitting the 100 meter mark, so fight until the end.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, won't it? I know Fernando Pimenta did a great deal of speed endurance training, but he's got a lot to do really to show it to Joseph Dostal to overcome. Dostal seems to be obsessed with looking to his right. He really needs to concentrate on what he's doing. He surely will sense that John Westhausen, who's been in good form, is coming at him, but nobody's going to take that from Joseph Dostal. Goodness me, that is a big margin in 500 meter racing, where we'll see 3 or 4 or even 5 paddlers all on the same second. Wow, a dominant performance from Joseph Dostal ahead of Fernando Pimenta, and I think it was John Westhausen taking bronze, but we'll wait confirmation, we'll get that cleared up for you. But the big man lets out a big cheer. So, no doubt about the winner there. Looks like perhaps we'll have to just clear up when we get that in the slow-mo, the minor medals, if you like. But Joseph Dostal got away well, just settled into his pace a little, and then really put the power down. And when this big man puts the power down, he really does put the power down. He was a silver medalist back in Rio in the 1,000-meter K1 event. Tokyo, he picked up the bronze medal in the K2000. Now he's the world champion. John Westhausen, well, he had a really good go at it. Tried to put Dostal under pressure, as did Pimenta in the red hat, the black boat. Top three, going through with 200 meters to go. Still the top three at the finish line. There's Fernando Pimenta, being in great form this season. Fernando Pimenta, such a great spokesman for the sport. And we'll see him race a little bit later on in his favourite 1,000-meter event. Here we go. We've got Joseph Dostal, a boat length ahead of John Westhausen, who takes the silver. Fernando Pimenta takes the bronze, and again a big gap between them and perhaps the German Jakob Thorsten taking 4th place.
It's so great to see such
well, Josef, the Wasp had a sting to it today, yes?
Yeah, as I told you yesterday, was a controlled semi-final for me, and then I told you I'm gonna be good today. Well, I will try to be good today, and you see, it was enough. So congratulations to the guys who are trying to beat me, but it was hard today for them.
You love this race so much, the 500. It's your dream race. So to be a world champion in it must be just top of the pile for you.
You see, it's like smile, not being sad. Yeah, I love it. I love the 500. I love this sport. Found again my passion for the kayaking, and that's crazy.
Good on you, Joseph. Congratulations,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, as you said, Laurence, he's really powerful, isn't he? He showed his power today, and it's good to see that he just loves this sport. They've got confirmation of Joseph Dostal winning the gold medal in 1:42. John Westhausen takes the silver. Fernando Pimenta takes the bronze, and Jakob Thorsten just misses out this time round. But the big man, when he's on form, he really is fascinating to watch, and he really wanted that one. It might not be an Olympic event, but this is the one he wanted to win, and he showed just how strong he is.
It's incredible, like such a powerful full athlete. Just every stroke you see the boat move, and it's amazing. I can't even describe it in words. It's beautiful.
It is, you know, when he's paddling well, and it's a simple thing, like you say, every stroke makes the boat move, but what he's doing is not losing any energy there, is he? And a very difficult thing in your event, of course, in the canoe, when you only have one paddle and you've got a difficult centre of gravity that's so high, but in a kayak as well, to be able to apply all that power that he has into each and every stroke is quite something to behold. Well, we're going to look very shortly at the medal ceremony for the men, the K4 men. So Marcus Cooper wins the gold medal in the K4 for Spain. Then he goes back up half an hour later to take part in the race. We've just seen the men's K1 500 meters. Now he's got to get back out of his boat and get onto the podium, the top step of the podium, for this K4 medal ceremony. Good to see the crowds down there. The Brazilians, well, they're big fans, of course, of Ezequiel dos Santos, who's a big character. And we'll see him a little bit later on. And we've got lots of Ukrainian flags there, lots of Canadian fans, Chinese, British as well. So they will be looking forward to seeing this medal ceremony coming up very shortly. And then we still have more races to bring you. We've got K2 women over the shorter 200-meter distance. We've got the C2 women also over 200 meters. The C1 women over 500 meters. Your event, of course, Laurence, and more to come after that. So plenty more racing to bring you here on what is a beautiful day on Lake Banook. We're in Nova Scotia, Canada. Canoe 22, as it's known. The International Canoe Federation's Paracanoe and Canoe Sprint World Championships. And having it here in Nova Scotia is a wonderful thing. You, of course, began your career really in 2010, which was the year after the last time we had it here, Laurence.
Yeah, actually, I tried to get on the team for the 2009 event that happened here now 13 years ago, and I didn't make it by one spot, one place. But I'm very happy to have the chance to be here. Although I'm retired, it's great, and everyone's lovely, so it's good to be home.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's good to bring canoeing to Canada, where it's such a popular sport. You know, just Wednesday early in the week, the people that were here could see thousands of school-age children taking part in the sport, which is just what we want to see. Right from that age to this pinnacle of the sport here, where we see the medalists for the men's K4 500-meter race. So we'll have the Ukrainians, we'll have the Spanish, of course, on the top step of the podium, and we'll have the Germans, no stranger to the podium in the K4 race. We'll also
will now present the medalists for the K4 men's 500-meter event. The medals will be presented by Louis Rabaneda, ICF Executive Committee member,
who's an executive committee member from the International Canoe Federation, and also the president of the
bronze
Spanish
medalists
Canoe
are
Federation.
Oleg Kukarik, Dmytro Danilenko, Igor Trunov, and Ivan Semikin, representing Ukraine.
German team, but we do have 4 in the Ukrainians. They are delighted. Very, very popular. It's been wonderful to have them here in Canada. It's been such a difficult journey, but nobody has a lack of support for this team, for this country. Great deal of empathy and support for the Ukrainians, and wonderful to see the world champions picking up the bronze medal. So Oleg Kukarik, Dmytro Danilenko, Igor Trunov, and Ivan Semikin.
The silver medalists are Max Rentschmidt, Tom Liebscher, Jacob Schaff, and Max Lemke, representing Germany.
So just got 3 of our Germans here. I can certainly make out the tall figure of Tom Liebscher, no doubt about him. He's there. Max Rentschmidt's there as well. And I think that's Max Lemke. Jakob Schoff not able to make it on the podium because we'll see him racing in a little while in the K1 1,000 meters. Well done to the Germans. Of course, they were the Olympic champions. A little bit of a rebuild since Ronald Rauer retired, but they're not far off that top spot of the podium, which they've seemed to own over the last few Olympic cycles.
The gold medalists and world champions are Saul Craviado, Carlos Arevalo, Marcus Cooper, and Rodrigo Germade, representing Spain.
Well, a good result for them. I know the Spanish have worked very, very hard on the crew boats. That's where they really want to qualify the places in next year's World Championships in Duisburg in Germany. They're really put under pressure by the Germans, and they knew that was going to happen, but they executed their race plan. They focused on the job, and then the final few strokes, they just gritted their teeth, and they got the job done, and they did that well. And very shortly, when the medals and these handmade flowers have been given out, we will hear, I'm sure, the Spanish national anthem.
We will now hear the national anthem of Spain.
So the medal ceremony for the men's K4 500 meters is complete.
K4 men's 500-meter world championship medalists.
And we will head up shortly to the start of the 200 meters for the K2 women's event, as Ukraine, Germany and Spain just congratulate each other. As we said, we didn't see Jakob Schopf in the German K4 crew picking up his medal, because of course we'll be seeing him a little bit later on in our last race of the program that we've got today, which will be the K1 men's 1,000 meter race. So as the paddlers take their selfie on the podium, we look at the stats for the K2 women 200 meters. A non-Olympic event, this one, but nonetheless hotly contested. All these paddlers will be in the hunt for a world championship medal. Don't think we've seen a Hungarian world championship medal yet, which is a little bit unusual given that they're the most successful nation in world championship history. We may see one now, who knows? We may see one in some of the races coming up. So we have seen, of course, a Mexican, haven't we, crew in the women's K4 doing so well, picking up a medal up there. And we've got a K2 there. Alanis and Montemayor are racing in lane 1 for Mexico. Lane 2 is Horlova and Kuklinovska for Ukraine. Yeah, lane 3, Marta Valchikevich, Katrina Korlečić. Watch out for them. They are in lane 3. Sara Uzand and Teresa Portela, very experienced Spaniard in the back of that crew in lane 4. Blanka Kiss and Anna Lutz, very good over the shorter distance. They're the Hungarians who go in lane 5, qualified very, very well for this final. Ella Beer and Yael Steinpreis, who were 4th in Poznan, the Australians, they go in lane 6. Andrian Langlois and Toshka Rebecca from Canada in lane 7. Linnea Stencils and Moa Wiltberg from Sweden go in 8. This is the big focus for Linnea Stencils, the crew boats, not choosing to take part in the K1, so watch for them in the red boat. And then lane 9 is Sakira and Aziz from Argentina.
Ready, set.
The final of the K2 women 200 meters is underway. Important to get a good start, and it is Kish. You can see there, and Lutz from Hungary, who get away to the best start in lane 5, but now it is about maintaining their pace, trying to keep the stroke as long as they can, make sure they're latching onto it. They're doing that well at the moment, but they'll be aware that the other boats are coming at them. Spain are coming. We can see the Canadians right up there as well, and they'll get a feel for the roar of the crowd. Andrian Langlois and Toshka Rebecca have a big chance of a medal here. We need to pan out to be able to see this. They're banding out for the gold medal. It's going to be on the lunge for the line. Hungary, Canada, Poland, all in there. Spain. Goodness me, what a race. What a roar from the crowd. Kish and Lutz, the gold medalists. But I think we're going to see Canada on the podium. Well, what a race, Laurence.
It's so amazing to see, because Andrian, like I mentioned, is one of my very close friends, but Toshka, our young teammate, is a very new athlete on the international scene, so to see them do so great is amazing.
Well, Toshka, not yet 20 years old. There she is in the back of that boat. There's Andrian, and you can see what it means to them. A huge roar from the crowd. They're taking a medal, possibly the silver medal. And then a real fight. I think we had Poland, we had Spain taking a swim over the line there, but yeah, just looking around for confirmation, but delight on their faces. You can see that there. We'll see as we go through the replay here. They got a good start, the Canadians. There they are on their white boat, 3 from the bottom of your picture. It was perhaps the Hungarians who got away to the best start. There they are, Kish and Lutz. Really good over this shorter distance. As I said, the Hungarians qualified fastest for this final, being put under pressure by the Spaniards to their right, and they had the Poles a little bit further on to the right as well. We're getting into the business end of the race, whilst the Hungarians maintain their form, that nice upright style, a good long stroke. We'll then get a look at the lunge for the line coming up shortly. Here it is. So, Hungary lane 5, but we're not watching them. We're watching the Canadians in the red vest, the white bow. Ooh, that is difficult to call. The Spanish maybe just getting it ahead before they fall in of the Canadians, but really, whatever colour medal they get there. What a result for Canada and for those two paddlers.
They can be proud of the work they've put into this. This is a really good and promising crew for the next few years, and maybe Paris, you know.
Yeah, something to develop there as well. Blend of youth and experience in the Canadian crew taking the bronze medal. Hopefully we'll see the Hungarians. We'll have a word with Ross on the pontoon momentarily.
Blanca, you look surprised.
No, yes, I'm really happy. I can't believe it. We are world champions.
Tell me about the race. It was good? Good race?
Yeah, that's perfect. Never mind. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, not the most in-depth interview that we've ever seen, but actually the smile on their faces says it all. They're absolutely delighted with that. And of course, that, I think, is Hungary's first medal at this World Championship. So they get the ball rolling there with the win. Blanca Kish and Lutz in 38.76 seconds for Hungary. Spain, Sara Ozanda and Teresa Portilla get the silver. And Canada, Andrian Langlois and Toshka Rebecca take the bronze medal. So wonderful result for Hungary. Spain holding on to take the silver, and first time Canada in the canoe sprint events here at the World Championships has been on the podium. So great bronze medal for them. Now we'll go and have a look at the C2 200 meters. There we can see the stats. C200 meters and a really exciting crew in lane 1 to look at. We've got Canada, Germany, Moldova, Poland, Cuba, China, Hungary, Chile and the USA. But a chance possibly for another medal, do you think, Laurence, for Canada? Sophia Jensen, certainly from what I've seen of her this season, is an exciting prospect for the future.
Indeed, and very powerful crew from Canada, but like, it's a 200-meter race. Anything can happen, so I'm just going to be cheering for them. But, you know, any crew is set to get on that podium today.
Yes, particularly in the 200 meters, you're absolutely right, which is what makes it so exciting. So, to take you through the lineup, there you saw the Canadians, Sophia Jensen and Julie Ossend, but we've got Germany's Lisa Jan and Sophie Koch. And next to them, we've got Daniela Koku and Maria Olorascu from Moldova. They go in lane 3. They were third in the Czech Republic, just missed out on the medals at the World Championships. Magda Stani and Alexandra Jakiewicz from Poland go in 4. Then the exciting Cubans, who missed out on a medal a little bit earlier today in the C2 500 meters. But in this particular event, they have been undefeated this season. Yaroslavs Dubois and Catherine Segura. Then Lin Wenyan and Shuai Changweng, who were silver medalists behind the Cubans. The Chinese, they go in lane 6. They were silver medalists behind the Cubans in both the World Cups this year. Gada Bragado and Bianca Nagy from Hungary, bronze medalists at the World Championships in this event. They were also in the C2 500 meters earlier today. Paula Gomez and Karen Rocco from Chile go in lane 8. Nevin Harrison, we haven't seen much of her yet, have we? She will go in lane 9, along with her Ten Kusaka. So that'll be an interesting one from lane 9. As you get a view from above, from the drone there, a little bit of a headwind, perhaps slowing these paddlers down. There they are, Nevin Harrison, the Tokyo Olympic champion. As I say, we haven't really seen her racing this season so far. She's got a young teammate just behind her, 20-year-old Ten Kusaka. So an interesting one that, a bit like you did, Laurence, in women's canoe, Nevin perhaps bringing on another generation of paddlers.
Well, Nevin is still very young herself, so although she's won and been impressive on the international scene, she's probably going to be there for many years.
She's indeed an under-23 paddler herself, so she's got a bright and long future ahead of her. So the final of the C2 women's 200 meters about to get underway. And we are underway. Watch for the Cubans in the white boat. There they are in picture, making the most of those long levers, the powerful crew who haven't been defeated yet this season. Looking to go with them. Top of the picture are the Canadians, the Chinese right next to the Cubans. White boat of the Cubans against red boat of the Chinese. These two in their own race almost as they approach the red boys. The final 100 meters of this race looks for the goal to be between Cuba and China. They're pulling away from the rest of the field, but a royal battle going on for the bronze medal between the Hungarians, the Germans, and the Moldovans. So we get a view now. It's all about who's going to get the lunge time, the lunge right. Oh, the Cubans maybe just ahead of the Chinese. They did lunge early. The Hungarians perhaps taking the bronze medal.
I have personally fallen in the water like this. When you push and give everything you have at the end of the race, sometimes it happens. And, you know, also lunging for that line, you really give the last stroke as long as you can. So it can happen, but I'm sure these ladies are super happy and proud of what they've just done. And it's okay. The water is probably really nice.
Yeah, they are. The water's warm. It's about 17, 18 degrees. The Canadian military have been out helping with the rescue boats. They're good swimmers, these paddlers, no doubt about that. And all on that lunge for the line. The Cubans maybe we'll see in the slow-mo perhaps lunged a little bit early, but had done enough. The Chinese lunged again as well. The Canadians were in the mix, weren't they? They had a good goal there, but it was really between the two fastest qualifiers, the Chinese and the Cubans. Cubans maybe a little bit disappointed earlier on today, being out of the medals in the C2 500. But maybe this is their favoured event. Quite a choppy stroke they've got there, but making it work for them as they were put under pressure by the Chinese.
They seem to have a much higher stroke than most of the other crews, but they're making it work, like you said. And they're really like you can see the power emanate from what they're doing right now. And yeah, they just did a great race from start to finish. They held on. They made sure to not get flustered by the Chinese fighting for them.
Yeah, and that must be so important, you know, sticking to that race. And there's the lunge, goes early, but they still had done enough for China. In fact, we've got to be careful there, haven't we? Ooh, it's interesting because the rules are you have to be in your boat when you go across the line. Now, Hungary picking up what looked like bronze. Germany, what looked like fourth. Big jump in the water from the Cubans. A long way after the line. They lunge early, then they cross the line. Big smiles. Quite happy to allow themselves to take a swim there in the warm waters of Lake Banook. But we do need to look at the Chinese, because if they fell in before they crossed the line, then their result won't count, and it'll be Hungary that are elevated to the silver medal and Germany up to the bronze. So of course we'll wait confirmation of that. We may well see the Cubans come over, the exciting Cubans come over for a talk with Ross on the pontoon. But that's what we want in this category, isn't it? Exciting races, not quite knowing who's going to take the win. It's only good for the sport.
Exactly. I would have loved to see all 9 boats come so close, but at least seeing this fight for the end from these two amazing crews, it was very exciting.
It was, and you could tell they're very excited by this. These bubbly pair of paddlers from Cuba. Had a quick word with Ross down there on the pontoon.
Wow, what a race. What a race. World champions, but it was close.
Yeah.
How was it?
It's very good because 200 meters C2 for me is very important, and C2 500 meters the same, because she and I is very fast in 200 meters. I am happy, just very happy.
Was it hard because the 500 was not so good today?
No, the irons is very bad for she.
Okay. Well, you're world champions in the 200, so well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, well done to Yarislidis Du Bois and Catherine Segura. We're going to see a lot more of these young Cubans. There we got confirmation of the result. They have confirmed China were in the boat when they crossed the line. So Cuba take the gold medal in 45.09. China take the silver 45.24. And Hungary, another medal for Hungary, taking the bronze medal 47.59 seconds. Sophia Jensen there and Julie Ascend just outside the medals, not far away, Laura. So another good Canadian crew to look forward to developing for the future. Now then, we'll look up to the start of the 500 meters now. This is an Olympic event. We have the Olympic champion Dame Lisa Carrington right in the middle of the course there. She's certainly been in good form this season. Her first full season for 3 years, of course, because of the COVID restrictions, and we wouldn't bet against her winning another world title. So we'll just get a lineup in a second. We should take a look over at lane 1, where we should find Yin Mendi, the Chinese paddler. There's Lisa Carrington in picture in the all black with the silver fern. Just really become a legend of the sport, always looking to progress, to find new ways in which she can develop and push herself and her teammates on to new and better things. So China will go in lane 1. There you can see Yin Mengdi in lane 1. Then we'll get Esther Rendesi from Hungary in lane 2. Hermione Peters, watch for her, 4th in Poznan this year for the Belgian, 6th in Tokyo. She goes in lane 3. Alyssa Bully, as she's known, she's been in good form. She's in lane 4 for Australia. Lisa Carrington from New Zealand in the black boat in lane 5. Next to her, Julie Hake from Germany, bronze medalist from Poland in the World Cup. Emmy Jorgensen, watch for her in lane 7 in the white boat from Denmark, the Olympic bronze medalist. Anja Osterman has been in great form. She goes in lane 8 from Slovenia. Lane 9, Anna Maria Gorcinovic from Croatia. A bit of a surprise making this final. She's in 9, but watch the black boat. She will get out to a great start. Undoubtedly, Lisa Carrington, a super high stroke rate, a super powerful stroke, quicker stroke rate, more powerful than anybody else in the field. Takes an early lead, but the bow looking ominous in lane 7 of Emmy Jorgensen, who was the world bronze medalist, the Olympic bronze medalist, always there or thereabouts. Looking to put Lisa Carrington under some early pressure, but Lisa looks focused, looks strong, holding it together in these blustery conditions.
And Lisa is I'll say it, she's the queen of kayaking. So far, she's inspired so many generations of younger athletes who see her and believe in their dream to try it. And so, yeah, she's in this race, she's ahead, but she's also ahead in the sport in general.
Yeah, she really is a legend, isn't she? And it's not surprising that we've now got a great women's K4 from New Zealand, because she's bringing on these others. Now, talking of others, they're all coming at her now. She's put a marker down, Lisa Carrington. I suspect she'll pick it up once again as she gets a sense of the others coming back at her as she approaches the final 100 meters. Now, Anja Osterman in lane 8, who's been in great form, the Slovenian, training with the Slovakians this year. She knows she's in good shape. She's looking to put Lisa Carrington under pressure. She's doing just that. Lisa Carrington, maybe less than a boat length ahead as we're in the red boys. We've got about 20 seconds to go, folks. Lisa Carrington, that typical dynamic, quick and upright style. She's leading the field. And now we've got lane 8, Slovenia, Anja Osterman. Even the Croatian, Gorgacinovic, is going to have a go from lane 9. We'll see as the camera pans out. This is Lisa Carrington. She has, in fact, pulled away from the rest of the field. The Croatian, who's been in amazing form coming to this World Championships, just gets a nose ahead of the German. That is an amazing race and an amazing result. Not a surprise for Lisa Carrington, but what a surprise. Anna Maria Gorgacinovic from Croatia, who looked good in the earlier rounds, knocking out some big rivals, has gone and taken the silver medal here. Unbelievable result for her. Lisa Carrington, well, she is ever the professional, isn't she? And as you've said, Laurence, she's a legend of the sport. Got away to a usual blistering start. But for me, I was a little bit concerned in the middle part of the race. You know, normally when she pulls away, she perhaps didn't pull away as much as I might have expected from the others. But in the last 100 meters, she did begin again to just gap the rest of the field. Emma Jorgensen put her under pressure early. The German came late, but still a great result for the Olympic and world champion.
And at the same time, even if she didn't pull as much in the middle of the race, that is not what's important. The most important thing is where you are at the end of the race. So she probably knew to keep at least some energy for the last 100.5 meter, where she could make sure that no one could catch her, and that's exactly what she did today.
Yeah, it's been really interesting, you know, to listen to psychologist David Galbraith talk about that and how she's mentally developing. Yes, physically, maybe you get to a peak, but she's still developing how she approaches these races mentally. There you can see the Croatian, and it is the German that takes the bronze medal. So, a good result, and Hermine Peters, I think, perhaps coming in 4th place. So I do hope very shortly we'll get an interview with Lisa. She's normally very happy to talk to Ross down there on the pontoon. That's another medal to add to her burgeoning collection of World Championship and Olympic gold medals.
Well, Lisa, congratulations, world champion again. That looked a bit hard out there today.
Yeah. I mean, a headwind always makes it a little longer. Yeah, and it's just a bit more resistance. So it's definitely a longer and tougher race, but I mean, it's great to be out there.
And you already had a K4 today. You're used to this, though, about having busy days, but does that take a bit out of you?
I mean, I guess, you know, I think it has too, but I guess it's being able to line up again and kind of just being able to do my best, no matter how much energy I've got. But I want to do that. I want to paddle with the girls on my team, and I think it just makes, you know, the world champs and the campaign so much more enjoyable, and I think we all get better for it.
Good stuff. Well done. Congratulations, Lisa.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, they always get some interesting comments from Lisa Carrington. She really sets the bar for everyone else to follow. There she is, 1:58, so not the quickest time, but the headwind getting a little bit stronger. She's still got just over a second ahead of Anna Maria Gorgachinovic from Ukraine. Sorry, from Croatia, I should say, apologies. And Julie Haak from Germany taking the bronze medal at this World Championships here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. The 47th World Championships, the 3rd that we've had here at Dartmouth. They really do have the infrastructure. They've done a lot of work, of course, as you can see on the little amphitheatre, which was rebuilt recently, and on the edges of the lake. There they are, the big fans, particularly the Brazilians, of the Canadians, of the Ukrainians, and others.
Everyone, the medal ceremony of the K2 Women's 200-meter event will begin momentarily.
And then we will look forward to seeing the medalists for the women's K2 200 meters on the podium very shortly.
Medalists for the K2 Women's 200-meter event. The medals will be presented by Jillian D'Alessio, Olympian and chair of Canoe 22, accompanied by the team leader from Hungary. The bronze medalists are Andréane Langlois and Toshka Rabaka, representing Canada.
Well, probably the biggest cheer that we're going to hear this morning for the Canadians. A great result for them, a great result for your good friend Laurence as well.
Yeah, I'm so happy for both of them. They deserve it, and I'm glad that they did this in front of their home crowd, so very happy for them.
The silver medalists are Sarah Uzande and Teresa Portela, representing Spain.
So Teresa Portela to the left of your picture, very, very experienced. Yeah. 40-year-old, but still delighted to be on the podium in amongst the medals once again, with her teammate Sarah Uzand.
The gold medalists and world champions are Blanka Kiss and Anna Lutz, representing Hungary.
Well, these two, big smiles from these two young paddlers. Real excitement from them. Nice to get the ball rolling and get Hungary on the rostrum. And very shortly we will hear the Hungarian national anthem.
We will now hear the national anthem of Hungary. Your
Not an unfamiliar sound,
K2
the Hungarian national anthem.
200-meter World Championship medalists.
As we see the World Championship medalist for the women's K2 200 meters. Hungary top step of the podium, Spain and Canadian crowd delighted to see the K2 from Canada on the podium. Right, well, we've got 3 more races to bring you before our program ends. I do hope that you'll join us again tomorrow, but before tomorrow we have the C1 men 500 meters to look forward to, C1 women over 1,000 meters to look forward to, and we'll finish off today's program with the K1 men, the Olympic event over 1,000 meters. So there's the detail. We'll see the paddlers in just a moment. And with many canoe events, Laurence, it's been wonderful to have you along and to give your expertise. You know, we've looked at C2, C1s. We're going to look at 1,000 meters shortly. We've got 500 meters here. We've done some 200s. So good to see and good to have your expertise. So there we can see the lineup there. Germany in lane 1, China, Czech Republic, Ukraine, Romania, Brazil, Bulgaria, Italy and Poland all represented in this event. So paddlers just preparing themselves at the moment. We should see Moritz Adam over in lane 1. Can't quite see him at the moment. There he is. Now, Moritz Adam, a little bit unusual, not choosing the German colours for his boat. We normally see them in a pink boat. He's going for the blue and white this time round. Moritz Adam did very well to qualify for this. Took a 4th place in Poland earlier this season in Poznan, in much more difficult conditions than we see here. Then Zheng Pengfei from China goes in 2. Then Martin Fuchser. Martin Fuchser in picture means business on that graphic, but he's been under a little bit of pressure at this World Championships. Martin Fuchser, who was undefeated at World Cups in this event. Pavel Altikov from the Ukraine, watch for him. Outside the medals in the World Cups, but he's been in great form, as has Katlin Chirila in picture from Romania. Maybe he's the form man. 2nd place in Poznan earlier in the season. But the man with the most support has to be the big character, though diminutive figure, of Ezequias dos Santos. Such a popular and exciting paddler to watch. He's the Olympic champion over the longer 1,000-meter distance. He was a silver medalist behind Martin Fuchs in the Czech Republic earlier in the season at the World Cup. Angel Hodinov from Bulgaria goes in 7. Alexander Kitevsky you can see in 9. And just to his right, we did see briefly Carlo Tacchini. Watch out for him. He was a World Championship bronze medalist. He is in lane 8. So the final of the men's C1 500 meters is underway. Watch out for Romania. He's been in the best form at this particular event at the World Championships, but never discount Ezequias dos Santos, who gets away to a good start over in lane 6. This is just 500 meters, remember, so it probably, even in these conditions, will be under 2 minutes. And Ezequias dos Santos, with that short, choppy stroke in the blue bow, lane 6 going well, though the early pace is right at the bottom of the picture with Alexander Kitevsky, the pole in lane 9.
And you can see the trademark of dos Santos is paddling super fast. So he's probably not going to drop down his stroke rate, or at least very little compared to the other paddlers. So we might see a bit of difference in the second half of the race.
That's interesting, yeah. So he keeps that high tempo, not perhaps the long, languid stroke that we see some of the paddlers execute in C1. It's choppy, it's punchy, it's powerful. He'll know, though, the Romanian to his right, who's been in great form, Cătălin Cirila, the very experienced Romania, picked up medals in the World Cups this season. Looks like it's going to be him. It's going to be his job to try and put Ezequias dos Santos under pressure. Not sure if that's a grimace or a smile on the face of Ezequias dos Santos. He knows he's got a big crowd behind him as he approaches the final 200 meters of this 500-meter race. The popular Brazilian who's had a difficult journey, a difficult early time in his life, being scolded, of course, and losing a kidney, but then winning his Olympic gold medals. He's now going to boat length, though, over Cirila. Cirila's asked the questions, but Ezequias dos Santos just surfing on a wave of noise. He's got a huge Brazilian crowd. The Canadians love him. He's a country mile over the rest of the field. It is the Romanian, maybe just being put under pressure by Martin Fuchs for the silver medal there. But you can just see what it means to the crowd and what that means to Ezequias dos Santos. I'm barely out of breath. What a champion.
Yeah, what a champion. What an amazing athlete. It's so always crazy to see him paddle, because everyone else seems to be dying from the exertion, and dos Santos just keeps on, and he overstrokes almost everyone in every race. And there you see him just, winning and still being fresh as a rose, as if he could do another one right away.
Incredible, isn't it? Yeah, maybe he's just buoyed by the crowd as well. He's such an exciting, dynamic paddler. This is what we need in canoe sport. Yes, it's nice to see races close up and to be really competitive, but also to see a real character of the sport, like Ezequias dos Santos. The fans love him. He's got something special, and that's what we want. So, let's get a look at the replay. He wasn't the fastest starter. Cirila got away well. He's been in good form, as has Altakov in picture this season. And as has Martin Fuchs, but as we said, just perhaps seems to have struggled a little bit here at the World Championships in the white cap, just on the right of your picture. Ezequias dos Santos was put under pressure, the Brazilian, around about the middle part of the course, but he just seemed to have bags and bags of energy to step it up. And then he had that wall of noise to really support him down the last 100 metres when he was in amongst the red boys, and nobody was going to take that from him. You could time that with a calendar. That is a big margin.
And you were mentioning, we didn't know if he was laughing or having a grin, but I think he was laughing the whole way.
Oh, well, we're laughing and we're smiling, and the crowd are as well. They love him, don't they? And that's so important. I wonder whether he'll have a word with Ross on the pontoon. He may well. There's tongue out there, finger in the air, and he might well go and see the crowd before he comes for his interview on the pontoon. We will see. But you can see, big Brazilian crowd here. They love him. He came out on Thursday just purely to say hello to the crowd. He got a big cheer. Here he is with Ross.
que é pro sinal da televisão lá da prova.
Ezequias, congratulations, world champion again. How was it?
Obrigado. Muito feliz. Ano depois dos Jogos Olímpicos, poder ganhar a medalha de ouro aqui com a torcida brasileira aí me acompanhando. Isso é muito gratificante. Treinando firme para Paris. Paris é o objetivo. Medalha de ouro, primeiro lugar.
Obrigado. Obrigado.
I think just a word for the crowd and his support there. He's been great for the sport ever since they discovered him in the run-up to the Rio 2016 Olympics when he was on home water and winning dramatic races there. He's won another dramatic one there, but by a big margin, 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Ezequias dos Santos, the Brazilian, takes the gold medal. Kathleen Churilla, good reward for what's been a great season for him, the Romanian, in second place. And Martin Fuchs are just doing enough to get through into that bronze medal.
Yeah, Fuchs coming back from what we could see was maybe not the best start at the beginning, but he came back and he got on that podium, so that's amazing to see.
Yeah, it is, and I'm sure he'll look to do the same, if not better, for the longer 1,000-metre race. And we're going to look at the longer 1,000-metre race for the women. This is a non-Olympic event, but good to see again as part of the World Championship programme, the longer C1 1000. And Lawrence, of course, you're an expert and multi-medal winner in the 1,000-metre and 200 metres, but the 200-metre and the 500-metre, but 1,000-metre a little bit different.
It is a much longer race, and for women's, it's not always been. It's actually the first that I personally see on the World Championships event. So 1,000-metre, very, very different for the mental aspect of it. It's all about focusing for the race plan.
Yeah, really interesting, and you don't really have the time to think in a 200 metres or 500 metres, but you do, which can be a bad thing, can't it, in the 1,000 metres. JC Grant, though, she must be delighted to be in this final.
I bet she is. A very young athlete, and her first appearance here at the Senior World Championships, so excited to see what she gives us.
Yeah, just let's hope she takes in the experience as she just cools herself down with the water there and takes on every moment of this. Look at that, what a fine setting. We have Dartmouth, we have Halifax, we have 23 lakes apparently in this area, lots of trails. You can go and disappear in a canoe on the lakes or go and run through some of the trails through the forests. And what a venue. Let's just hope they can use this venue more often for international events.
Actually, I believe you could go almost over 20 kilometers long if you kept going from one lake to the other, because they're a chain of lakes. So sometimes some people actually do this very, very long trek of paddling all the way to the end.
Well, that's long. I mean, for the likes of you might find 1,000 meters long, but 20k, that's another matter, isn't it? That's
it is.
Marathon distance. And of course, this was known in the Mi'kmaq dialect as the first lake. They were the first people, the Mi'kmaq people, to navigate the waters of Lake Banook. And I'm sure there are people that will navigate these waters and go on those long distance trips, because canoeing here in Canada is just such a popular part of life. So we can see competitor from the USA there, Azusa Murphy. She goes in lane 2. Magda Stani from Poland, who's already raced today, will go in lane 3. Maria Maillard, very experienced Chilean athlete. She was good in the Super Cup in Oklahoma last year. We've got the Super Cup in Oklahoma to look forward to towards the end of August this year as well. We may well see her there. There she is in picture, the Chilean athlete. Now we should see Ludmila Lutzan, who's done a lot of racing, and it's great to see her get on the podium as well. There she is in picture. It's been, as we spoke about earlier, it's been a really tough year for the Ukrainians, particularly seemed to take its toll on her, of course, the Olympic medalist and her partner, Anastasia Chetverikova. But so it was great to see them pick up the silver medal in the C2 500 meters just over an hour ago. And then next to Annika Losk, the German. And then Viraj Bala. Now, Viraj Bala should be over in lane 8. We saw Viraj Bala a couple of days ago. About to get underway. Looks like almost a full start from her. And she was all smiles. She didn't do so well in the Hungarian selection, but she's decided to just have a slightly easier year, to take a breath for the year. There's going to be a really intense build-up towards the Olympic Games in Paris, so she's competing in many of the non-Olympic events. And it looks like we don't have anybody in lane 7, which is a shame. And even from this point above Laurence, you can see the different angles that the paddlers set themselves up at for the start.
And that is depending on which side you paddle. And it seemed like there is a bit of a tailwind right now. So the athletes want to make sure they have an angle that will help them get the best start as possible.
Yeah, and what can happen with a side wind, can't it, is it can favour paddler on one side, which is a shame. And the good thing we've seen, although it has been a little bit blustery, sometimes a headwind, sometimes a tailwind here, is it's been fair. So if you find yourself in lane 1, lane 5 or lane 9, you still have a good chance of winning the race.
And that's the best thing we can hope for, is to have as even of a field as possible for our events here. And it seems like Maria right now and Ludmila are having kind of middle of the race, not middle of the race, we're still early, but they're getting into their middle of the race pace right now, and they're just cruising together and trying to, you know, get ahead. So it's going to be a very mental game for them.
Yeah, it is indeed. I wonder, like you already said that about mentally in 1,000 meters being a longer race, you have that time to think, which can be a real challenge. You've got to block out those distractions. You've got to concentrate on your own race. But these two will be very aware of each other, you know, alongside. And interesting, in fact, isn't it, that Ludmila Lutzan paddles on the right, Maria Maillard is on the left, so they're kind of almost closer to each other. They can certainly sense where their competitor is.
They can certainly see each other, so it's going to be about a mental game, knowing that you're neck and neck with the person right beside you, and if she pushes, you can't afford to not do it, but then you also need to make sure you keep your energy until the end. And this is not something we're used to as women's canoer, because again, 1,000 meters are not a usual event for us.
No, that's right. No, and it's what can be difficult. So is we can see the German just to the right of your picture do really well as well. It's good to see Annika Luss trying to go with these early leaders as we approach the halfway point. But if you get into the rhythm, these two very similar stroke rates, slightly higher stroke rate perhaps for the Chilean athlete, but it can actually be quite hard sometimes to then lift that and move on to the next level. So they don't want to sit too much, I guess, otherwise it's hard to go through the gears.
And you want to keep as much efficiency, because now we're at the halfway point already, and you want to make sure that the energy that you add for the first half doesn't diminish, because you can get really stuck at the end of the race if someone decides to pick up. So it's all about conserving as much energy as possible throughout the race, but also not getting too far behind, because you won't be in the race for the last few meters there.
No, and talk about efficient technique. I'm guessing that Ludmila Lutzan does a lot of work on her technique with the coaches. She seems to be executing that very well. Good lock on the front of the stroke at the moment.
Looking great, and not only her, like all the top 4 right now are really looking like they are putting the weight on the blade, but also keeping that as forward as possible. Not too much bouncing happening, and not too much, you know, sideway movement. So very efficient looking and very great starts.
Yeah, really good lock onto the blade. A lot of the paddlers talk about that, don't they? Lifting themselves, getting all the way onto their blade. You know, water isn't necessarily a stable platform, but the more solidly you put the blade in, the more you can rely on that, get all your weight onto it and lift, and the boat then lifts through, and you don't waste any energy having to steer or balance. But we'll see when the camera pans out. Looks at Ludmila Lutzan still has the lead as we get down to the last 200 meters, just towards the last 200 meters. As we pan out now, we can see she's almost got a boat length on the others, but I guess this is the time when they start moving through the gears, picking up the stroke rate, and want to put Ludmila Lutzan under pressure if they can have any chance of taking that gold medal away from them.
And that's where we're going to see where everyone's experience as a paddler comes out, because some people will have the last push in them to go all the way to the end. And it seems like Ludmila decided to take a step ahead in front of the others to make sure that she would play a little bit on the mind, right? So she's ahead and she's doing great.
She is doing great. They are coming. They're having to go into Maria Maillard, who's been trucking her right the way for 900 meters, is trying to pick it up. But at the minute, Ludmila Lutzan must know she's got clear water on the rest of the field. She's picked it up once again, and this will be a great victory for her. And all respect to the German as well. Fantastic from her. Annika Lusk going really, really well, trying to put Maillard under pressure for the silver medal, as is Viraj Bala from Hungary. But no doubt about the winner, a deserved winner, a great character for the sport, Ludmila Lutzan. Good result for her. Maria Maillard in second, and Annika Lusk for Germany takes the bronze. Well, there's a very proud Ukrainian there, you know, proud of her nation. It's been a very, we keep saying this, but it's so true, that a very difficult year for her and for her teammates and for her country. And wonderful to see the way people have supported the Ukrainian community. She's actually been back in Ukraine training. They were hosted by the Romanians for 3 months. They did some racing in Italy, but she wanted to go back home. She's done that. And she's done her country proud, taking a gold medal here at the World Championships.
And I honestly cannot fathom the amount of work that you need to do to work on yourself and still be able to be at the top of your game, even through so many things happening. You know, we all have had to go through COVID, but this is completely other game, right? It's so completely life-changing.
It is indeed, and it's just wonderful, and there are no more popular winners at this event than the Ukrainians, and it's great to see them doing so well despite all the adversity. And maybe for Ludmila Lutzan and the other paddlers, it's just, you know, 4 minutes worth of break from all the other things that are going on, and a chance to concentrate on something else, something she knows, something she can control. She does well, and well, nobody did it better than her in that 1,000-meter race. We might just get a word with her on the pontoon with Ross very shortly.
Ludmila, congratulations, you've had such a busy day. 3 races, and now you're a world champion.
Я цю перемогу хочу присвятити нашій Україні. Я дуже щаслива, що в мене є шанс представляти Україну, воювати на дистанціях, відстоювати честь нашої держави, так як наші воїни воюють у нас на Україні. І для нас це дуже тяжко. І своєю силою ми разом показуємо, що наша Україна непереможна. І ми обов'язково переможемо, звичайно, війну. Так що дякую всім, хто мене підтримує. Я дуже щаслива, що мені вдалося здобути перемогу.
Well done. Congratulations.
Well, Mila Lutzan, she's earned that little bit of time to speak to her compatriots, to say how difficult it has been for her and her country. What a great result. 4:47.90 for Ludmila Lutzan taking the gold medal. Maria Maillard from Chile in second. Annika Lusk from Germany in third. So we have one more race to look forward to. And for many people, this would be the blue ribboned event, the K1 men 1,000 meters. Certainly it will be a competitive one, a close one, where we have some of the finest athletes in the world competing here and in great form, judging by what we've seen from the likes of Balint Kopas and Fernando Pimenta just recently. So there's the lineup: Spain, Hungary, Germany, Australia, Portugal, Czech Republic, China, Belgium and Argentina. This is the last race of today's session, but we've plenty of races to bring you tomorrow, so do hope you will join me tomorrow morning for the final day of the ICF Canoe Sprint and Paracanoe World Championships.
And at this moment, we will see a lot of athletes who have just competed in this K1 500 meters. So it is going to be very... I'm curious to see who's going to be affected from racing that race so close to this K1000. And we remember seeing Fernando Pimenta and Joseph Dostal both fighting for the podium there in the 500 meter. So now who still has that little bit of an edge?
The really interesting question, that one, Laurence. Well, in the next 3.5 minutes, we're going to find out. It was interesting that Joseph Dostal, as he said in his interview after winning the 500, the 500 was the big one. That's the one he wanted. But, you know, now he's got a sense of victory and a taste of it. He'll probably want another one. Man in your picture there in the red cap, of course, Fernando Pimenta, perhaps although 500 and 1,000 meters are both pretty much the same energy system that you use, perhaps more suited to the 1,000. So, you know, and he's had some good success over the years, including, of course, the Tokyo Olympic Games where he won a bronze medal. So watch out for him. We'll just take you through the line. So we're going through there. We've got Francesco Cubelos from Spain in 1. Balint Kopas, the Olympic champion, who's looked in great form so far here in Lake Banook, the Hungarian. He's in lane 2. Watch for him. Jakob Schopf, who competed and won the gold medal in the K4 for Germany a little bit earlier today. He is going in lane 3. Thomas Green from Australia is in 4. Fernando Pimenta, there he is. He's done everything for Fernando Pimenta. World champion, multi-Olympic medalist, European champion. He's in the middle in lane 5 in the black boat and the red cap. Joseph Dostal was in amazing form earlier today in the K1 500 meters to win the gold. He's in lane 6. Zhang Dong, don't discount him. The Chinese 6th place at the Olympic Games, goes in 7. Arthur Peters from Belgium in 8. Augustin Vernis, the exciting young Argentinian, in 9. We're underway with the final of the K1 men 1,000 meters. There's Fernando Pimenta in picture. Normally gets away to a good start. The best start, though, goes with the Spaniard right at the top of the picture in lane 1. Francesco Cubelos, not necessarily surprised there from the Spaniard. I would expect him maybe to settle down a little bit more as we get to this towards the middle of this race. Fernando Pimenta, you can pick out his red cap and black boat, fairly distinctive. There's right up there. Lane 9's right up there. Augustin Vernis, and also just beginning to look ominous. He has looked in wonderful form. The man who holds the world's best time. He's only in his early 20s, already competed at 2 Olympics. He's already the Olympic champion. There he is in picture, Balint Kopas. Well, this race always had the possibility of being Balint Kopas versus Fernando Pimenta, because we saw that at the World Championships where Pimenta got the better of Kopas. We saw at Tokyo where Kopas got the better of Pimenta. And this is what it's turning out to be. We always see a story develop in the K1000 meters. That's what makes it such an exciting race. And we're seeing that here. The 2 black boats, Hungary against Portugal, Kopas against Pimenta.
And when compared to the previous race we just saw, Pimenta and Kopas might not be aware of how close they are to each other. So right now they're just focusing on their own race plan, their own game, what they're doing the best, and hoping for the best.
They are really interesting that there's a bit of a gap between them, isn't there? Not certainly in position. They're very, very close. 0.29, Pimenta's behind. Argentina doing well in 3rd place over in lane 9 there. And almost stroke for stroke. Interesting, their stroke rates were almost exactly the same as they approached the 500-meter mark. Now we're getting towards about 300 meters to go. It'll just be interesting to see whether one of these paddlers goes early and tries to pick it up before he gets the 250 mark to put the other under pressure. Also, we do need to watch for Tom Green. He had COVID just over a week ago. He's in picture there now, and he's stalking these 2. He can see them ahead of him. And Tom Green has got a pretty awesome finish on him, so we'll have to watch for him.
Seems like Kopas is taking the lead a slight amount in front of Pimenta, but we all know these athletes are really, really strong throughout the whole race, so Pimenta might have more under his cap until the end.
Yeah, we're getting to we're about the last 200 meters now, so we'll see whether Pimenta really needs, they've just gone through the 250, they're coming up to 200, and really, Pimenta needs to pick it up, and that is exactly what he's doing. Yes, Kopas has the lead, but Pimenta now, he's only a meter or just over that behind Kopas, so he will sense it. Kopas might be aware of it. Kopas is going like the clappers now. He's picked it up once again. His stroke rate has gone up. There's nobody else in his world apart from that finish line. He can sense the red boys are coming. He may well sense that Fernando Pimenta is coming. Has he got enough? This is quite a phenomenal athlete that the Hungarians have found here. Balint Kopas, the Olympic champion. Fernando Pimenta in the red cap is throwing everything at him, and he's coming back. There's still strokes to go. There's still another 10 seconds to go yet. How's Pimenta, the great champion, the experienced Portuguese? Has he got enough? It will be all on the lunge for the line. Pimenta's going to have a go at Kopas. Oh, that was so difficult to call. Nobody talked about the German. Jakob Schoff came late to the party to pick up the bronze. But that is two of the greatest athletes we have ever seen in this event, just going toe-to-toe, duking it out against each other. And we'll have to wait for the photo to decide that one.
Indeed, such a close finish from both athletes. That was incredible to see. I'm getting the shivers right now.
Oh, well, what a way to end off our first day at what has been a wonderful World Championships. Just in their own world of pain there. We've got from the graphic confirmation that Balint Kopas, he can barely look up, but he will hear his name. He takes the gold medal. And only he and Fernando Pimenta know how deep these two went to achieve that.
Amazing race from these athletes. They can be proud because these conditions, having paddled right before and doing this race nose to nose the whole way, yeah, this is incredible.
They were fighting it out, whether you're right, absolutely the whole way, right from the start. Maybe Kopas had the better Pimenta early on. Then he stretched it with about 2:50 to go, and I thought, I must admit, well, that's it. But Pimenta, never discount him. He's an animal, it really is. What a fine athlete we can see there in picture. He won everything, every race he took part in the World Cup in Poznan, but he knew still he had to do more if he was going to beat this guy. And it was only just over an hour ago when Fernando Pimenta raced in the 500 meters. I wonder if that will be playing on his mind. Well, here we go, the lunge for the line. Kopas had a look round. He went early, actually. In fact, if he kept paddling, he might have had a bigger margin. We can see there, in fact, no doubt about it, it was Kopas, the Olympic champion, now adds world champion to his collection. Ahead of Fernando Pimenta. There's a man in the prime of his career. In fact, he's probably going to get better. Beats the experienced paddler Fernando Pimenta, and young Jakob Schoff, who was the world champion, comes through to take the bronze medal.
Balint, congratulations, what a race. That was so hard. You're world champion again.
Thank you. I am very happy that I won this race. It's always a pleasure to compete with several big champions. For example, Fernando Pimenta, José Dostal. Yes, and I am very happy to being here in Lake Banook. Very nice venue, race course. Yes, I am very tired. My muscles full tired in the end of the distance, in the 200 meter. One of the strongest race for me.
How much did you want to get this title back again? You lost the World Championship last year to Pimenta, now you've got it back again.
Yes, the last World Championship, I had the second place. And this race, I won the gold medal. I am very happy. A very, very strong race. 1,000 meters. I am very tired, sorry.
Well, congratulations, Balint, world champion, well done.
Well, Balint Kopas from Hungary takes the gold in what was a scintillating race. Look at that, 500ths of a second after 1,000 meters worth of hard work from these athletes. Balint Kopas from Hungary takes the gold. Fernando Pimenta takes the silver, and Jakob Schoff takes the bronze for Germany. What a race, and what a way to end our first day of finals at the Sprint World Championships here on Lake Banook in Canada. I'm Mally Johnson. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Laurence Vincent Lepoin, double Olympic medalist, alongside me. As we see the medal table there, they've amalgamated the Paracanoe and canoe sprint medal table. Great Britain on the top of that, thanks to their Paracanoe achievements. Just ahead of Ukraine and Spain. Hungary and Germany, not used to being outside the top three, but we may well see that change tomorrow. Laurence, thoughts from today? It's been lovely to have you. Was there anything that particular that really stood out to you?
I'll talk about my my fellow athletes from the national team. The Canada has done really good today, and I've seen a lot of younger athletes get on that A finals race, and I love it. I love to see that, and they have so much potential in the last few years, next year, sorry.
Well, Laurence, that's thanks to you. You've driven the sport, particularly of canoe, forward. It's wonderful to see Canada get on the podium and see your friends do so well. It's been great to have you, a real pleasure to have you alongside me today. We've seen some brilliant racing. I hope that you've enjoyed it at home and very much look forward to seeing you for more races at this Canoe Sprint World Championships on the final day tomorrow.